Chapter 41. That's amazing. Lu Xiao's eyes instantly gleamed. She couldn't help but reach out and grab onto Sun Mo's clothes. Ding. Plus 20 favorable impression points from Lu Xiao. Prestige connection with Lu Xiao. Neutral. 38 1/100ths. Li Ziqi stood behind Sun Mo, looking at his broad back that seemed like a tall mountain. It blocked off Xu Shaoyun's threatening face, and a strong sense of security gushed toward her. Li Ziqi had felt a little worried prior to this. After all, Sun Mo was too young and could be lacking in his teaching capabilities. However, at this moment, she knew that she had made the best decision in her life. Ding. Plus 15 favorable impression points from Li Ziqi. Prestige connection with Li Ziqi. Neutral. 50 1/100ths. Xu Shaoyun's countenance was grim, and his body inclined forward slightly. He stared at Sun Mo like a majestic lion who was about to swing out its sharp claws and tear its prey. Sun Mo wasn't scared and didn't back off at all. Good. Very good. Xu Shaoyun patted Sun Mo's shoulder while forcing a smile. You're very good, Pa. Sun Mo slapped away Xu Shaoyun's hand. You don't have to tell me that. I know that I'm very good. SSSS. Everyone drew in a cold gasp. This time around, even the calm Liu Mubai felt a little astonished. Sun Mo's actions were surely a provocation. Gixuxun backed off one step, assessing Sun Mo seriously. Xin Huai's fiancée was amazing. To think that he would dare to go against a two-star great teacher. Did he not know how the word death was written? Both Jiang Sheng and Yuan Feng were so excited their blood vessels were going to erupt. They couldn't wait to see Xu Shaoyun slap Sun Mo into a mush. Student Ziqi, I hope that you'll gain achievements under Sun Mo's teachings. After Xu Shaoyun finished his words, he turned and left. However, people who knew his temper would know that Sun Mo would be given a hard time in the future. Great teachers wanted face as well. It'd be a complete humiliation to Xu Shaoyun if he didn't get Sun Mo to kneel and call him father before quitting. He had personally gone to recruit a student but ended up getting rejected. It'd be fine if the student followed a great teacher of the same rank as him, but to think that it was an intern teacher. If word of this were to spread, Xu Shaoyun would be better off dead. It was utter humiliation. At this moment, Xu Shaoyun hated himself for being too rash and hadn't done any probings in advance. This wasn't Xu Shaoyun's fault either. There weren't that many two-star great teachers in Jinling City. With his status, he'd be highly revered no matter where he went. Ever since he gained the title of a one-star great teacher, he had been revered by others. That led to his pride swelling up. Liu Mubai left. He didn't care to say goodbye to Sun Mo. As for Li Ziqi, although she had a respectable identity, he decided to give up on her. Sun Mo. Gixuxun had just called out when she was interrupted by Sun Mo. Why aren't you leaving? Are you planning to get me to treat you to lunch? Sun Mo wasn't feeling happy as he had offended a two-star great teacher out of nowhere. However, he wasn't afraid of Xu Shaoyun's revenge. With a blade in his hand and courage within him, there was nothing he was afraid of. Gixuxun's countenance stiffened up slightly. She didn't want to pay any heed to Sun Mo, but she couldn't just speak to Li Ziqi directly. It'd make her out to appear too material. That was why she had taken an indirect approach to this. However, she didn't expect Sun Mo to be so spiteful. I can be the one treating you. Gixuxun wore a beautiful smile on her face. She even ran her hand through her beautiful black hair, giving off a feminine and alluring vibe. Gixuxun could make use of her body language to strengthen the impact of her words. Not free, not hungry, goodbye. Sun Mo gave 3 replies in succession and then left. Li Ziqi and Lu Xiao exchanged a glance and then immediately went after Sun Mo, following behind him. He's too repulsive. Who does he think he is? Yuan Feng was enraged. He wanted to talk to Gixuxun but was hesitant and didn't dare to do so. This Sun Mo is too arrogant, Jiang Sheng said. He then put up what he thought was his most handsome smile as he looked toward Gixuxun. Teacher Gu, don't mind him. One day, there'll be someone teaching Sun Mo a lesson for being so arrogant. Gixuxun answered half absently, but her gaze was on Sun Mo's back. An indescribable feeling was stuck in her chest. As the top beauty of the Zhongzhou Academy, Gixuxun was used to having men trying to get into her good books. It was a very refreshing feeling to be suddenly rejected by Sun Mo openly in public. Those onlookers must be laughing at me, right? Especially those women who are jealous of me and the men whom I've rejected. They must be mocking and slandering me behind my back. At the thought of this, Gixuk-sun suddenly felt a little excited. Teacher Gu, do you have time in the afternoon? Why don't we have lunch together? We can talk about teaching over the meal as well. Jiang Sheng appeared to be saying this very casually, but he was feeling extremely nervous. He kept on wishing in his heart that she would agree. Not free, not hungry. Goodbye. Gixuk-sun gave the same reply Sun Mo had given her, and she realized that these 3 lines were very impactful. She could consider using them to reject those detestable sweiters. If the invitation was from Liu Mu Bai, Gixuk-sun would definitely accept it. But who was Jiang Sheng? Even if he managed to stay in the school, they'd still be from different worlds. Hearing these 3 short replies, Jiang Sheng was first stunned and then his countenance turned grim. This was absurd, really absurd. Bitch, you're looking down on me? One day, I'll get you to kneel and lick my shoes. Jiang Sheng stared at Gixuk-sun's beautiful figure and swore in his heart. Sigh. Yuan Feng sighed. As expected, it was impossible to successfully invite Gixuk-sun. However, he then felt a little indignant. It was because Gixuk-sun had invited Sun Mo and was also rejected rudely. Who is Sun Mo to do that? Yuan Feng couldn't understand. In his opinion, that guy who sponged off a woman was worse than himself. That was right. It must be because of Li Ziqi that Gixuk-sun would take the initiative to invite him. Otherwise, how could he possibly have that kind of charm? However, at the thought of Li Ziqi acknowledging Sun Mo as her teacher, Yuan Feng sank into a deep bout of envy once again. Who was Sun Mo to be so privileged? Did he have a big penis? In the office of the teaching building. Since many teachers had arranged for students to keep watch at the school's entrance, everyone soon received news that Li Ziqi had come. She should have gone to the Zhongzhou Academy. Why did she come to our school? Zhu Shani couldn't understand. Given the current teaching capabilities and future prospects, the Zhongzhou Academy, which was a notch higher than the Central Province Academy, would be the top pick for those influential people. She must be here to play. Someone spoke up, not feeling that their school would be able to attract Li Ziqi. Could it be that there's a teacher here that Li Ziqi would like to learn from? Lian Zheng guessed. It was very common in the Central Province that students would join a certain school for the sake of a particular great teacher. This was the great attraction that great teachers had. Therefore, when the opportunity arose, all schools would go all out to fight for the great teachers, even forking out extremely high salaries. Just as the teachers were discussing amongst themselves, Jiang Yongnian entered hurriedly. Why are you so happy? Could it be that you've managed to recruit Li Ziqi? Zhu Shani teased. I know my own worth well. Jiang Yongnian rolled his eyes. He wasn't willing to give up on Li Ziqi. After all, she had a very distinguished status. However, he hadn't expected to have come across a good show. Guess what did I see just now? What is it? Zhu Shani sipped on his tea slowly. Xu Shaoyan went to recruit Li Ziqi but was rejected. Jiang Yongnian had never liked Xu Shaoyan, who was merely a 2-star great teacher. He would be able to reach 2-star very soon himself. So, seeing Xu Shaoyan in a bad plight felt as comfortable as if he was eating chilled watermelon on the hottest day of the year. Isn't that normal? Lian Zheng was speechless. It would be surprising if Xu Shaoyan were to succeed. No, the reason Li Ziqi rejected him was because she has already acknowledged a teacher. Jiang Yongnian's words caused the other teachers who hadn't been paying attention to stop their work and look over. Who is it? Is it teacher Jin Muji? No. A 3-star great teacher's attraction is probably still not enough. It can't be headmaster and, right? I wonder who will have the good fortune of taking Li Ziqi as their disciple. The group of teachers chatted enthusiastically, with some of them clearly sounding envious. Don't keep us in suspense, quickly tell us. Zhu Shani urged. It's Sun Mo. Jiang Yongnian revealed. The moment he said this, it was as if a freezing wind from the north had run through the entire office, freezing it up in ice. All the teachers were speechless as they looked at Jiang Yongnian. Their gazes then turned to that of perplexity, followed by doubt. DSK, you're kidding, right? Zhu Shani drank his tea while the others went back to their work. Hey, I'm not lying. It's true. I saw it with my own eyes. Jiang Yongnian had witnessed the entire process in which Xu Shaoyan had been rejected, as he was a 1-star great teacher. His ears were sharper, so he had not missed out anything from their conversation at all. "Are you sure that's Sun Mo? Why is it him?" Lian Zheng furrowed his brows so tightly that creases were formed on his forehead. "How would I know?" Jiang Yongnian shrugged. "Anyway, Xu Shaoyan has gotten a great humiliation this time around." Some of the teachers who didn't like Xu Shaoyan also broke out into stifled laughter. "Teacher Jiang, what happened? Can you tell us in greater detail?" Zilin, who was passing by, entered when she heard the commotion in the office. After hearing Jiang Yongnian's elaboration of the entire story, she immediately ran to look for Gixuxun to ascertain if it was true. After ascertaining the story, Zilin anxiously dashed into the headmaster office. "Eldest miss, you mustn't let Sun Mo act so recklessly anymore." Zilin was very anxious. "What's the matter this time around?" Xin Huai asked, feeling perplexed. Li Ziqi has acknowledged him as her teacher. Zilin's countenance was grim. It wasn't anything serious that Sun Mo had offended Xu Shaoyan. However, the sky would collapse if Li Ziqi's aunt were to be infuriated and come charging over him. Even Xin Huai, who had trained her heart to remain calm regardless of the situation, appeared surprised to think that her childhood sweetheart had done such a great thing. If news of this were to spread out, a great commotion would break out across the entire Jinling city. "Eldest miss, the matter with Xuan Yuanpo aside, we must stop Li Ziqi from acknowledging Sun Mo as her teacher," Zilin insisted. Sun Mo had neither status nor capabilities. Regardless if Li Ziqi was sincere on wanting Sun Mo as her teacher or if she had been duped by his sweet talk, Sun Mo would suffer if Li Ziqi's aunt were to find out about this. When that happened, even the Central Province Academy might be implicated as well. The Central Province Academy was clearly in the midst of a raging storm and couldn't afford to take on any additional turbulences. "I understand. You can take your leave." Xin Huai furrowed her brows tightly, her expression turning a lot more solemn. "Should I call Sun Mo here and so that you can talk to him personally about this?" Zilin suggested. Chapter 42. Soul Imprint. "You can go back to your work for now." Xin Huai deepened the tone of her voice, and after Zilin left, she picked up her brush and wrote the words, Sun Mo, while memories of their childhood flashed in her mind. Other than talented students, schools also wanted students who came from wealthy families. Why? It was because these students came naturally with a tremendous amount of political resources. Xin Huai wanted students like Li Ziqi, but she knew that the current state of the Central Province Academy wouldn't be able to win against the Myriados Academy. Therefore, she didn't expect this surprise haul. Zilin was worried about Li Ziqi's aunt, while Xin Huai was thinking that if things were handled properly, this could bring a lot of benefits for the school. After all, if it wasn't for Sun Mo, there was a high chance that Li Ziqi would be going to the Myriados Academy. "No matter how things are, my fiancée is really amazing." Xin Huai decided that after the student recruitment meet ended, she would go and take a look at Sun Mo, to meet this childhood sweetheart who had used to enjoy following behind her. Right now, Sun Mo had two tails trailing behind him. Li Ziqi kept on trying to find out about Lu Xiao's situation. Given her max intellect at 10 points, the papaya girl wasn't her match at all. It didn't take long for Lu Xiao to place great trust in her and say many things. "Very good. From today onward, I'll be your eldest martial sister. If there's any trouble, I'll protect you." Li Ziqi took out a jade pendant and handed it to Lu Xiao. "Here, this is eldest martial sister's gift for you." Lu Xiao lowered her head and didn't take it. "Take it," Li Ziqi urged. "I am teacher's first disciple." It was rare to see the cowardly Lu Xiao showing such persistence. Li Ziqi pinched her forehead, explaining solemnly, "Didn't I tell you? I've done the teacher acknowledgement long ago." "Teacher-son, where is that scarf?" "Take it out and show her." Sun Mo pretended as if he hadn't heard anything. He would let the kids deal with the matters between them, and he wouldn't help either of them. The first disciple is the teacher's image. While the person doesn't have to be the strongest, they must at least not be embarrassing. "You'll suffer a lot given your weak character." Li Ziqi rambled on, striking the papaya girl's weakness. Lu Xiao kept on stuttering but eventually didn't finish her sentence. She was aware that her character was weak, and even when she met strangers, she would feel so scared that she wouldn't dare to breathe too loudly. "All right, It's decided. Li Ziqi smiled proudly. Come on, call me eldest martial sister. Lu Xiaoruo struggled for a very long time but was eventually unable to win against Li Ziqi's insistence. Eldest martial sister, N. Li Ziqi nodded solemnly and waved her little fist excitedly. From today onward, I'm someone who has a junior martial sister and also a junior martial brother. Lu Xiaoruo reminded her. What? Li Ziqi was perplexed and looked at Lu Xiaoruo. She realized that Lu Xiaoruo spoke too slowly, so she decided to run up to Sun Mo and asked, "What's going on?" This is how it is. If you acknowledge me as your teacher, not only would you have an elder martial sister, but you'll also have an elder martial brother. Sun Mo teased. It ended up that Lu Xiaoruo was still unable to win against Li Ziqi. This feeling was as if he was watching an endearing and naive little deer being fooled by a little Red Riding Hood. This is detestable. Li Ziqi pouted her little lips and raised her foot to kick Sun Mo's lower leg. It was only then did she realize that it was bad for her to be doing this, and she sneaked a glance toward him. Realizing he wasn't angry, she felt relieved and patted herself on the chest. You are being disrespectful toward teacher Sun. Lu Xiaoruo was shocked. I'm just bringing our teacher-student relationship closer. Li Ziqi's eyes rolled as she immediately came up with an excuse. That's right, bringing our relationship closer. Oh. Lu Xiaoruo nodded. Seeing Lu Xiaoruo's naive expression flashing with an innocent aura like a harmless little deer, Li Ziqi suddenly felt a little conscience-stricken. She was hesitating if she should explain things when she saw Lu Xiaoruo running over and catching up to Sun Mo. Hee. Lu Xiaoruo raised her right leg and kicked out hard. Pa. Sun Mo stumbled a little from the sudden kick and almost knelt on the ground. He couldn't help but turn back and look at Lu Xiaoruo, feeling puzzled. This is to improve our relationship, Lu Xiaoruo said seriously. She felt that the greater the strength she exerted, the deeper their relationship would be. After saying that, she turned and looked at Li Ziqi. Hey, don't look at me. It has nothing to do with me. Although Li Ziqi was thinking this, she nodded seriously. That's right, we both like teacher Sun a lot. Sun Mo had the feeling that his life wasn't going to be so easy in the future. Who is that junior martial brother? Li Ziqi asked. A battle maniac who likes to fight. Sun Mo recalled Xuan Yunpo's data. It was true that it'd be a waste of his body if he didn't battle. Oh. That means that his head is filled with muscles. Li Ziqi was assured. Simple-minded people who only had brawns were the easiest to deal with. Oh right. Teacher Sun, come over here. Seeing that there was a large, shaded area behind the library not far away and that there weren't many people there, Li Ziqi immediately grabbed Sun Mo's arm and ran over. Lu Xiaoruo wanted to follow after them. Marshal Jr. Lu can wait here, Li Ziqi instructed. The summer wind blew, causing the leaves to rustle, leaving behind the swaying trees. After ensuring that Lu Xiaoruo was unable to see her, Li Ziqi dropped to her knees while wearing a solemn expression. Teacher Sun, please accept student Li Ziqi. Li Ziqi did 3 proper kowtows, banging her head to the ground without trying any tricks. Sun Mo couldn't help but look at her seriously, asking the question that was in his heart. Why is it me? Why can't it be you? Li Ziqi was puzzled and asked him back. Neither of them said anything. They just quietly looked at each other. It was as if time had come to a stop and there was only the sound of the summer cicadas ringing out in the forest. System, is she sincere about this? Sun Mo asked. Make a guess. The system's reply was as simple as usual. Very long later, Sun Mo smiled. Li Ziqi smiled as well, showing off a pair of sweet dimples. That was right. Why did he need an answer? Since Li Ziqi had chosen him, then he should guide her seriously and not let his mind wander recklessly. Get up. Sun Mo helped Li Ziqi up. Teacher Sun Mo. Li Ziqi smiled very sweetly, like the flower nectar that the bees had gathered early in the morning. She put her hand into her collar, took out a piece of teardrop-shaped jade stone, and removed it from her neck. She then handed it to Sun Mo. This is my teacher acknowledgement gift. It represents my determination. This should be very precious to you, right? Sun Mo didn't take it from her. After hearing what Li Ziqi said and considering that it was something she kept close to her, it was apparent that this jade stone must have a special meaning to her. Li Ziqi stroked the jade stone, pursing her lips as she recalled back on a memory that was in the past. Right now, It's a gift for the teacher acknowledgement. Take it. Li Ziqi put out her hand and stuffed the jade stone into Sun Mo's hand. She then turned, planning to run away. However, she was immediately stunned because Lu Xiao's small head had popped out from the side of a loquat tree not far away. She was hiding there and secretly watching like a little kitten. Seeing that Li Ziqi had noticed her, Lu Xiao instantly hid behind the loquat tree, raising the branch in her hands. Oh my, she must have seen the entire process of me going through with the teacher acknowledgement. Li Ziqi's eyes darted around, feeling a little nervous. However, she quickly boosted her own morale and tried hard to calm down. No matter what, the place of the first disciple must be mine. Li Ziqi adjusted her emotions and then wore an extremely friendly smile as she walked toward Lu Xiao. On the other hand, the papaya girl was holding onto tree branches and slowly backing away. Sun Mo couldn't help but smile. It seemed that their relationship would be very cordial. Ding! Congratulations on taking Li Ziqi in as your disciple, completing the system's first mission. Rewarded with one mysterious treasure chest. As the system's reminder rang out, a big treasure chest that flashed in a purple glow appeared before Sun Mo. The divine skill, Immemorial Ver Irocana, was something that he had obtained from opening a mysterious chest. Therefore, Sun Mo felt a little agitated. It was the same feeling from when he was opening the first movie, one he had downloaded in the past. Open the chest. Sun Mo regretted a little after saying that. He should have touched Lu Xiao before opening it. At the very least, he should go and stand next to her. After all, big boobs could increase one's luck. The treasure chest opened and immediately disappeared, leaving behind a book that was shrouded in a platinum glow, spinning slowly. Congratulations on obtaining an elementary grade Great Teacher Halo, Soul Imprint. Host exclusive. The system's calm voice was like plain water. It was giving the polite talk again. But Sun Mo didn't mind it. It was because he hadn't heard it clearly. What imprint? Sun Mo blinked. Pregnancy. Did your brain get damaged from playing too many ertic games? The system said in despise. It's Soul Imprint. You know ertic games? You're really not a serious system. Sun Mo was testing the system. When he checked through the information, he found out that Great Teacher Halos could only be gained through enlightenment and not from anywhere else. But in addition to the ignorant and incompetent, the system had contributed 2 Great Teacher Halos for him. Given Sun Mo's capability of scoring 148 marks for his language in the college entrance examinations, Sun Mo understood and was certain that host exclusive meant that this was something only he knew. The system fell silent. Soul Imprint. After the host uses it, it would be possible for him to project information that includes but isn't restricted to martial arts moves, unique skills, as well as any knowledge, experience, memories, a certain condition, mood, and teachings into a target's mind, letting them receive instant comprehension. Proficiency Index, Elementary Grade. The Soul Imprint's effect can be sustained for at most 10 minutes. When the Proficiency Index increases, the sustained duration will increase. Looking at the skill's introduction, Sun Mo's expression gradually turned into that of shock. Given his comprehension ability, he could be certain that this Great Teacher Halo was a divine skill to a teacher. What annoyed teachers the most? Explaining a certain knowledge for the entire day, yet the students still couldn't understand. With this halo, it meant that the teacher no longer had to verbalize things. They could project the knowledge directly into the students' minds, letting them gain immediate comprehension. This is amazing. My wonderful system. All sorts of feelings welled up within Sun Mo and he subconsciously reached out to touch the book. This wasn't all to how powerful the Soul Imprint was. The host could even channel things that were hard to grasp, such as his feelings and condition into the students' minds. Did you only just realize? The system suddenly spoke up with a hint of proudness in its tone. 1. Referring to PRN movies, Chapter 43. My aptitude is definitely number 1 under the heaven. Sadly, the duration is too short. Sun Mo's lips twitched. After he admired the skill book again, He lifted his hand and shattered it. Pack. The skill book transformed into a golden facula. It resembled a firefly as it flew into Sun Mo's mind. A sense of enlightenment immediately spread through his whole body. It felt like he effortlessly learned all the third-year knowledge during the first day of high school. It also felt like he could do all the exam questions with ease, like he could solve any difficult problems. This feeling was simply too pleasurable. Teacher, what are you doing? Quickly come over. From afar, Li Ziqi's shout could be heard. Sun Mo pursed his lips slightly as he walked over. The effect of soul imprint was very strong. However, the prerequisite was that the user had to be strong enough. If the teacher was an idiot, there wouldn't be anything of value that could enter the student's mind. On the campus, the young and inexperienced youths brushed past each other. They were like pieces of unpolished jades that had yet to be refined. Sun Mo, who was in a joyous mood, activated divine sight and searched for those students who didn't even know that they were geniuses. Teacher Sun, what do you think about that guy? I feel that his aptitude isn't bad. Li Ziqi pointed to a male student who was almost 2 meters tall. Isn't that bad? Which part of him isn't? We are selecting students with the potential for future development. We are not looking for laborers. Sun Mo was speechless. The data showed that the bone quality of that fellow was a little bad. His physique belonged to the injury-prone type. Leaving aside cultivation, he would even fail to qualify for hard physical labor in a construction site. How about that girl beside the flowers? Her breasts are small, and I can tell that she's good at cultivation just by looking at her. Li Ziqi solemnly spoke. Sun Mo glanced at Li Ziqi. Are you praising yourself after going in a circle? You are definitely doing so, right? All right, I know you are small, but I won't discriminate against you. Lu Xiaoyu heard these words, and she was like a startled little deer. She hurriedly hugged her chest and snuck a few glances at Sun Mo, as though she was afraid of being abandoned. One's aptitude isn't measured by the size of their that. Sun Mo laughed. Oh, comparing my aptitude and Xiaoyu, whose aptitude is better? Li Ziqi's eyes glowed as she stared at Sun Mo. Hee. Sun Mo chose to remain silent. HMPH. Li Ziqi put her hands on her hips and snorted complacently. I don't need you to say it, but I, the steel plate girl, my aptitude is definitely number 1 under the heavens. Boo-hoo. Lu Xiaoyu squatted on the ground, covering her head as she sobbed. So it turned out that the reason why her aptitude wasn't good was because of her huge papayas. This situation was terrible then. She wouldn't have any opportunity to improve her aptitude in this lifetime. Stop crying. Aptitude only plays a part, and it cannot represent achievement. Your achievements still depend on your own learning and hard work. Sun Mo consoled Lu Xiaoyu. He wasn't a teacher that only focused on genius students. Really? Lu Xiaoyu lifted her head. Her eyes were filled with tears as she looked at Sun Mo. Yes. Sun Mo rubbed the papaya girl on her head. I don't know whose aptitude is better, but that male student who just passed us is definitely not a good catch. Li Ziqi glanced around the surroundings, and her vision landed on a young man not far away. That young man was extremely skinny and was dressed in white. There was a cotton handkerchief in his hand, and he would occasionally cover his mouth as he coughed. Sun Mo initially wasn't bothered. He took a casual glance but soon started to frown. Tan Tang, 14 years old. 1 SD level of the body refinement realm. Strength, 3. You are an invalid, you lack the strength to even truss a chicken. Intellect, 10. You have the qualifications to call many people monkeys. Agility, 3. If you are ill, you should just lie down. Endurance, 3. Trash. Will, 9. Compared to the standard of youths, your will is indestructible. Potential value, extremely high. Note, do not use the gaze you use to look at a child on him, or you will be extremely unlucky. Note, this is a time bomb. Suggestion, be as far away from him as possible. The polarization of the data was extremely serious. This was the first youth whereby the system had 2 notes about. I think that might not be the case. Lu Xiaoyu doubted. He looks so sickly. I can tell he isn't cultivation material. Let's go. We will go look for more geniuses. Li Ziqi urged. That might not be the case. Sun Mo went over while asking in his heart. System, will there be a danger if I accept him as my disciple? Didn't you read the note? Please just follow the system's suggestion. the system reminded him. Hee hee. Sun Mo laughed softly. He went over to Tan Tang. Yo, young man. Are you preparing to join the school? Teacher couldn't possibly want to recruit him, right? Li Ziqi was puzzled. She wanted to follow them but was stopped by Lu Xiaoyuo. The papaya girl was afraid that Li Ziqi's appearance might affect Sun Mo's performance. Cough cough. Tan Tang didn't say anything but started smiling after he coughed. Hello, teacher. I came to this place on account of its reputation, and I'm filled with admiration toward the school's glorious history. Are you interested in becoming my student? Sun Mo went straight to the point. This young man was a rarely seen genius with an intellect of 10. Thus, regardless of how obedient or honest he appeared to be, Sun Mo knew he couldn't trust him easily. And rather than having his probe discovered, Sun Mo might as well be more sincere and open. Tan Tang would frequently cough blood due to chronic ailment, and this also resulted in his sick-looking appearance. Hence, through these 14 years, he had never been recruited by anyone before. This was why he was stunned when he heard Sun Mo. It's fine, there's always a first time in life, Sun Mo teased. Teacher. Li Ziqi hurriedly ran over and tugged on Sun Mo's clothes. After that, she covered her mouth with her hand and whispered, "Which point of him do you fancy?" The matter of a teacher accepting a disciple was a very solemn one. One naturally mustn't fool around. Intellect. Sun Mo tapped her forehead as he spoke. This guy is a monster like you. Both of you have an intellect stat of 10. Li Ziqi wanted to say that she had no way to believe this answer. Tan Tang was surveying Sun Mo. When he heard Sun Mo's answer, he began to frown. Could something like intellect be seen? All right, I won't joke around anymore. Sun Mo's expression turned solemn. He looked directly at Tan Tang. I only feel that you are the right person. Oi, teacher. Can you not be so corny? He is not a girl. If you keep acting like this, I'm going to suspect your sexual orientation. Li Ziqi covered her forehead. However, she felt that Sun Mo shouldn't be someone who would speak without thinking. Hence, she also seriously surveyed Tan Tang. Che, his looks are very ordinary. He is skinny and has a sickly appearance, looking as though he might die any time. Teacher Sun is still the better looking one. When she thought of this, Li Ziqi turned her head. Under the sunlight, Sun Mo stood firmly. His left hand was placed on the hilt of his wooden blade. His bearing exuded comfort and relaxedness. This was especially so when he wasn't speaking. The angle of his pursed-up mouth was very nice to look at. It was like a smile. Very sweet. I apologize. If you are looking for students to make up for a shortfall in the number of people, you shouldn't be looking for a sickly person like me. Tan Tang rejected his offer because he couldn't see through Sun Mo. This feeling wasn't good at all. No hurry. My name is Sun Mo and I'm an intern teacher. If you change your mind, you can look for me. After speaking, Sun Mo turned and left. He was testing the system. As to whether he could recruit Tan Tang or not, that wasn't so important to him. Truthfully speaking, Sun Mo was more fond of students like Xuan Yunpo whom he could tell the personalities in a single glance. It was easy to interact with those kinds of people. Are you playing with me? Tan Tang's expression sank. However, his look of anger instantly vanished as his expression went back to the harmless look he had on earlier. It was as though his words were just a casual question. I'm a teacher. I won't be playing around when it comes to recruiting students. Sun Mo halted. If you want to acknowledge me as your master, I will accept you now. What can you teach me then? These words revealed his sharpness. After Tan Tang finished speaking, he began to feel regret. He could say such words, but he shouldn't have done so in such a manner. Also, his tone should be slightly lower, or he would reveal his emotions. I can guide you on the aspects you are lacking. Martial arts. With divine sight and Qi Shengjiu as an example, Sun Mo was very confident when he said these words. He still hadn't included his recent gains such as the soul imprint and immemorial Ver Arcana. Tan Tang fell silent. He stared at Sun Mo's eyes and discovered that Sun Mo didn't waver at all. This person was either extremely confident, or he was a conceited fool. All right. Go and consider well. I have something on. Sun Mo waved his hand in farewell, regardless of which, he had to recruit 5 students before the student recruitment meet ended. By doing so, he would be able to become a substitute teacher. Staring at the back of Sun Mo, who had already walked far away, Dan Tang, who hadn't moved yet, suddenly smiled. I didn't expect to meet such an interesting person when I came to the Central Province Academy. Seems like I can cancel my plans and directly join this school. Look at his soon-to-die appearance. Even if he's a genius, he would be useless if he died early. Besides, we don't know what illness he has. Teacher, you shouldn't go near him. Li Ziqi felt Tan Tang wasn't honest enough. Teacher. Lu Xiaoyuo, who was afraid of strangers and hadn't spoken much, suddenly offered a rare opinion. I feel that he is very dangerous. It's better not to accept him as a disciple. When he felt the concern these two girls had for him, Sun Mo smiled. He was even more determined that he mustn't let them down. In the 9 provinces of Middle-earth, after acknowledging a master, there would be a connection between the teacher and the student. If one was bad, the other would be bad. If one achieved glory, the other would be able to bask in it too. If he was not famous enough, his students would also lose face. Looking at the 2 new stars, Liu Mubai and Gixuk Sun, and also the 2-star teacher Xu Xiaoyan's extreme desire to recruit Li Ziqi, he knew that it wasn't enough for him to become a substitute teacher. He had to quickly become a great teacher. To become a 1-star great teacher, he had to comprehend 3 great teacher halos and have a secondary occupation. Currently, he had reached the required number of great teacher halos. But what about his secondary occupation? There was no mathematics, foreign languages, etc. In the 9 province, he couldn't possibly teach the students his ancient massaging technique, right? If he did so, he would definitely become the butt jokes of the entire Jinling city. Teacher, quickly look over there. Li Ziqi suddenly tugged on Sun Mo's clothes and pointed to the flight of steps before the teaching building. There was a group of adults surrounding a youth. There was no need to ask. These people were definitely teachers. And being able to make so many teachers surround him or her, that person was definitely an outstanding talent. Teacher, let's hurry over to snatch him to our side. Li Ziqi pulled Sun Mo along as she ran toward that direction. The little Bambi Xiaoyuo quickly followed after them. Chapter 44, An Abandoned Student. Several people in the surroundings were watching. Other than teachers, some students were also there. Sorry, please let us pass. Li Ziqi squeezed her way over. When she saw the young man sitting on the steps, she couldn't help but exclaim in shock. That young man exuded an unwelcoming aura. As he flipped through the book in his hands, he was munching on a piece of hard sesame bread. He completely ignored the mutterings around him, including those pointing their fingers at him. What's going on with this fellow? Is he an escaped slave? Whispers echoed out in the surroundings. There was a scar on the youth's left forehead, and it was evidently shaped like the word trash. From the looks of things, it should have been caused by a sword or a dagger. Above the trash word, there were a few other disarrayed scratches. It was as though the scratches were there to destroy the word trash, but it was unknown what the young man experienced. Other than this, although his collar was straightened and he wore a silk cloth around his neck, one could still see uncovered parts of a tattoo that stretched up to half of his left face. This type of tattoo was known as spirit runes. In the 9 provinces, humans called pictures or diagrams that contained spirit chi as spirit runes. There were many types of spirit runes, and they could display miraculous effects. However, the tattoos on the young man couldn't display any effects. Even Sun Mo, someone who didn't understand spirit runes, could tell that these spirit runes were already destroyed. Sharp swords slashed through them, leaving behind cruel and unsightly-looking scars. Teacher, let's go. We have to go and snatch some genius students. Li Ziqi pulled Sun Mo as she prepared to leave. This young man was just someone pitiful. He would be even more pitiful if he was surrounded and watched, just like what was happening now. Lu Xiaoyuo was so scared that she tugged on Sun Mo's clothes. The scars on this young man's face, as well as his tattoos, caused her to feel extremely terrified due to how malevolent they looked. To her, the young man seemed like a fierce dog that was hunting everywhere for food. Wait a minute. Sun Mo stared at the young man. As a teacher, the thing he couldn't bear to see the most was an abused student. Jiang Leng, 12 years 7 months old. 90H level of the body refinement realm. Upon seeing this cultivation realm, Sun Mo was a little shocked. The Saint Gate had done research that the 12-year-old mark was the best age to start cultivation. If one started earlier, they might injure their foundation. Even if the individual was a genius, they might destroy or affect their future accomplishments. However, this young man was already at the 9th level. Strength, 8. You are not a power-type contestant. Intellect, 7. Although you don't depend on your brain for meals, those who underestimate you will definitely pay a great price. Agility, 8. Relatively normal, barely sufficient. Endurance, 10. Your endurance is extremely terrifying. You can call yourself an Iron Man. Will, 1. The fire of hope is dwindling. Maybe death is your only release. System, is it possible for someone's endurance to max out? Sun Mo was surprised. From his point of view, if one was a human, they would feel fatigued at some point in time. But according to this stat, the young man before his eyes belonged to the type of people that would never give up. The system will never be wrong. The system emphasized. Will 1. Does it mean that this little fellow's mental state will collapse soon and he would commit suicide? Sun Mo surveyed Jiang Leng, and he continued to look at him. Potential value, low. Note, it's a pity. Before he was 10 years old, his potential value was extremely high. Note, target has a very grave tendency to commit suicide. As expected. Upon seeing the note, Sun Mo sighed. This young man definitely had a very tragic childhood. It was unknown who could be so ruthless to use a sword and carve the word trash on his forehead. Teacher. Li Ziqi suddenly felt a sense of unease. Did he want to accept this person as a disciple? This trash word young man was even more inferior to that sick-looking Tantayutang. Sun Mo walked over. The environment, which was originally filled with whispers and mumblings, instantly fell silent. All the audience here adopted the same action without prior consultation with each other as they all turned to look at Sun Mo. Were you rejected when you attempted to acknowledge a master? Sun Mo got right to the point. What do you mean? Jiang Leng coldly looked at Sun Mo. His grip that was holding onto the hard bread tightened slightly, causing some crumbs to fall on the stairs. I just want to say that there are many teachers. There's no need for you to give up just because of a few rejections. Sun Mo lowered his voice. Hee. Jialeng coldly laughed. Although he knew it would be extremely difficult for him to find a master in his current state, the Central Province Academy was still a famous school with 1,000 years of history. One couldn't deduce things based on common sense. He had felt that he had a chance to find a teacher here that would admire him. Sadly, he was wrong. Let alone great teachers, even those experienced teachers didn't want to give him a chance. Teacher. Li Ziqi came over. Lu Xiaoyuo glanced at the left and right and also jogged over before hiding behind Sun Mo. Sun Mo scratched his head. As expected, a youth that wanted to commit suicide was very hard to handle. Are you pitying me? Jiang Leng forcefully bit a mouthful of the bread. He stared at Sun Mo, his eyes were like a wolf. I'm afraid that you will die. Sun Mo recalled the summer afternoon 3 years ago. Amidst the cries of cicadas, a female sophomore student had jumped down from a teaching building. The impact turned her into a pulp of flesh. My life is mine. Are you qualified to care about it? Jiang Leng turned his head away, no longer bothering about Sun Mo. Oi, what's with your attitude? Li Ziqi was extremely unhappy. Teacher clearly is worried about you for your own good. Wang. Lu Xiaoyuo peeked out and shouted at Jiang Leng. Jiang Leng revealed a malevolent smile. He stared at Li Ziqi. Do you believe that I will bite you to death? Li Ziqi didn't feel too scared, but Lu Xiaoyuo was so frightened that she directly cowered behind Sun Mo. Let's go. Sun Mo shook his head. He couldn't allow his students to be injured. He had already stepped out to persuade Jiang Leng, and that could already be considered extremely benevolent of him. Since Jiang Leng didn't want to listen, that was his business then. Teacher, this fellow must have been rejected by too many teachers, and his mental state became abnormal. Li Ziqi mumbled. Amen. Amen. Lu Xiaoyuo hurriedly nodded. Ding. New mission. Before the student recruitment meet concludes, get Jiang Leng to acknowledge you as his teacher. Reward, 1 bronze treasure chest. There will be a punishment if you fail the mission. The system notification rang out. Fuck your mother. System, You are scheming against me. Sun Mo's unhappiness rose to the peak. He only persuaded Jiang Leng due to his occupation as a teacher. He had no intention of recruiting him as a disciple. A student with a difficult personality like this would definitely annoy him to no end. As a great teacher, you have to be able to handle all sorts of challenges. This is the tempering exercise the system is giving you. Please provide a satisfactory answer. The system explained. What is the punishment if I failed? Sun Mo's heart was filled with curses. Believe me, you definitely won't want to know. The system tactfully indicated the severity of the punishment. That will become the worst nightmare of your life. Can the system detect the thoughts in my heart? Speaking of which, what's going on with this absolute great teacher system? Why did it choose me? Many questions appeared in Sun Mo's mind. This fellow truly doesn't know what's good for him. Why did the security allow someone like this to enter? He's too terrifying. His injuries. Could they have happened because of the bad deeds he did when he was young? Did someone do that to teach him a lesson? The students were mired in their discussion. Jiang Leng's vile attitude caused everyone to determine that he was a bad student. What's going on? Lian Zheng was the year's head. When he saw so many people here, he came over to check out the situation and ensure that no commotion would occur. Teacher Lian. The teachers hurriedly greeted him. When Jiang Leng saw a golden thread at the collar of Lian Zheng's white robes, his eyes instantly brightened. This was the sign of a one-star great teacher. Hence, he stood up and walked over. Teacher Lian, hello. Jiang Leng revealed a smile. Maybe it was because of his scars, but his current expression was quite frightening. Amen. Lian Zheng swept a glance at Jiang Leng and no longer paid attention to him. Jiang Leng could sense Lian Zheng's coldness toward him, but he didn't want to miss out on this opportunity. Hence, he knelt and kowtowed. Teacher Lian, I wish to acknowledge you as my master. A clamor rang out in the surroundings. The students were all dumbstruck when they looked at Jiang Leng. Wasn't the skin of this new student a little too thick? After seeing Lian Zheng's uniform and understanding that he was a one-star great teacher, this guy casually knelt like this and wanted to acknowledge Lian Zheng as a master? This was simply such a shameful thing. The students all felt that Jiang Leng wouldn't succeed. But even so, they were worried. They had a feeling as though the rice at their homes was being eaten by someone else. After all, they didn't dare to publicly ask a great teacher to take them as a disciple. How did this ugly ghost qualify? Young man, you don't meet my requirements. Lian Zheng didn't even hesitate and rejected him directly. The word trash on Jiang Leng's forehead was something that would affect his image. Moreover, Lian Zheng disliked the spirit rune that was branded on half of Jiang Leng's face. Just the sight of it was nauseating. A minority among cultivators would choose to brand spirit runes on their bodies to increase their combat strength. But those were choices made after they were of age. Why? Because after a spirit rune was branded, it was an irreversible process. The risk was that once the spirit rune was damaged, the remnant spirit chi in it would disrupt the chi circulation of one's body, causing one's cultivation speed to become slower. For more serious cases, their cultivation bases would remain stagnant forever. Jiang Leng looked to be at most 13 or 14 years of age, but he already had a damaged spirit rune branded on him. Even if he was once a genius, he was a cripple now. For students like this that definitely had no future, why would Lian Zheng want them? Even if he wanted someone to wash his feet and toilet, it wouldn't be Jiang Leng's turn. Jiang Leng stared at Lian Zheng. In his eyes, the last flame of hope gradually dissipated. Although he already guessed that this would be the reply, being rejected like this still hurt him a lot. Haha, he deserved it. Why doesn't he look at his own appearance? He is truly overestimating himself. How can a great teacher accept disciples so casually? The students were in discussion. When they saw Jiang Leng being rejected, all of them had a feeling as though the rice at their homes was kept safe and wasn't stolen by this fellow. Sun Mo shook his head. Lian Zheng rejected a student too quickly and basically didn't consider their feelings. However, there were so many students wanting to take him as their masters. Most probably, Lian Zheng didn't care about a student like Jiang Leng whom he completely had no regard for. Why did you shake your head? You have an opinion about me? Lian Zheng turned his head and stared at Sun Mo. It was precisely this person, someone that had no sense of his own limitations, who snatched away Xuan Yunpo and Li Ziqi. Is this a hot-tempered bro? Sun Mo had initially thought that Lianzheng didn't have a good temper, but after he saw the look in Lianzheng's eyes that was filled with loathing and contempt while looking at him, as well as the expression of pity on his face when Lianzheng looked at Li Ziqi, Sun Mo suddenly understood. This fellow simply disliked him. If you have no opinions, scram. Lianzheng berated and prepared to leave. Sun Mo lifted his feet. However, he didn't make way. He directly walked over and stood before Lianzheng. His eyes showed no fear as he stared at Lianzheng directly. Chapter 45, I, Sun Mo, won't give way, won't retreat. About 300 people had gathered before the teaching building. But at this moment, it was so quiet that you could hear a pin if it dropped. Everyone widened their eyes as they stared at Sun Mo, so shocked that they weren't able to say anything. Has this fellow gone crazy? He actually dares to publicly provoke a one-star great teacher? Lu Xiaoyuo glanced at the surroundings in a panic. On the other hand, Li Ziqi's spirits stirred. As expected, she hadn't chosen the wrong teacher. This step that Sun Mo took to move forward was truly tyrannical. Ding. Favorable impression points from Li Ziqi +6. Prestige connection with Li Ziqi, neutral. 56 1/100ths. Lianzheng also didn't imagine Sun Mo would do something so out of bounds. He halted in astonishment. After that, his boorish face revealed a look of extreme rage. Impudent. Lianzheng roared. Sun Mo stared at Lianzheng, and his body inclined forward slightly. Baring his teeth, he enunciated each word slowly. I have an opinion. Hence, I blocked your way. The entire atmosphere was so quiet that it felt terrifying. This was especially so for those intern teachers. All of them had fallen into a daze. Wasn't Sun Mo just berated by a great teacher? What's the great deal about it? He actually dared to retort. Does he want to be fired? Although you don't find this student suitable, can't you be more tactful about it and show some care for his pride? Sun Mo used his divine sight and observed Jiang Leng. He discovered that Jiang Leng's will had already fallen to 0. Another note appeared. Target is extremely disappointed and might commit suicide anytime. Lianzheng didn't know how much damage his casual reply had caused a student who had been continuously rejected. His final life-saving straw was destroyed by Lianzheng. No matter what my attitude, it's not up to an intern teacher like you to lecture me. Lianzheng berated. Sun Mo's fists instantly clenched. He stared at Lianzheng and he vowed in his heart he definitely had to specialize in a secondary occupation within half a year and pass the test issued by the Saint Gate, gaining a great teacher title. Damn. At that time, he would definitely say, you are just a great teacher that's almost 40 years in age. How shameful. At that time, he wanted to see if Lianzheng still dared to use his status to pressure others or not. Ding. New mission. Please become a one-star great teacher within a year. Reward. 2 golden treasure chests. The system issued a mission that was apt to the occasion. System, which camp do you belong to? You actually cause trouble for me at such a moment. Sun Mo was unhappy. Why? You are reluctant to accept it? Lianzheng stared at Jiang Leng. Since you look down on my attitude and pity him, why don't you accept him as your disciple? This old man is so sinister. Li Ziqi mumbled in her heart. She hurriedly came over and was preparing to stop Sun Mo. Lianzheng wanted to push Sun Mo into the fire pit. The young man with the word trash on his forehead definitely had no future. If Sun Mo accepted him as a disciple, there would certainly be a large taint on his reputation. Teacher, my stomach hurts. Can you quickly bring me to see a doctor? Li Ziqi clutched her stomach and showed a face of agony. Lianzheng had long since noticed Li Ziqi. Now that he saw her pretending to be sick to help Sun Mo get out of this predicament, he grew even angrier. Why was such a good student following Sun Mo? Teacher, let's take a step back. Li Ziqi tugged on Sun Mo's clothes as she persuaded in a low voice. Take a step back? Ziqi, in my dictionary, there are no such words. Even if a mountain obstructs my path, I will shift the mountain aside. Even if an ocean blocks me, I will reclaim it in its entirety. I, Sun Mo, won't give way, won't retreat. won't concede. Sun Mo waved his hands. He pushed Li Ziqi's hand away and stared straight at Lianzheng. Li Ziqi was stunned. Sun Mo's words resounded out loud, and each word was filled with force. They were like iron hammers smashing on her brain. Rongba, who was in the crowd, involuntarily wanted to clap and praise when he heard this. After that, his gaze shifted to the left as he saw Jin Muji, who was standing under a parasol tree not far away. Damn, this fellow is so brazen. An intern teacher couldn't help but shout. Although his words openly showed contempt, he felt somewhat impressed in his heart. This was retorting a great teacher. If he was in Sun Mo's shoes, let alone causing a great teacher to be angry, he would have long since swallowed his anger. What is that teacher's name? The students began to ask in a low voice. Lianzheng's hands were folded before his chest. He was calm and unruffled as he stared at Sun Mo. His tone was that of ridicule. Very well then. Why don't you accept him as a disciple? Sun Mo looked at Jiang Leng. You have heard everything, right? What's your decision? A bead of sweat appeared on Jiang Leng's forehead. According to your situation, this is your only chance in life to acknowledge a master. You better know how to grab hold of this opportunity. Lianzheng chortled. Although Teacher Sun is an intern teacher, he is a very awesome one. He would definitely not waste your time. Li Ziqi was very intelligent. Although her words appeared to be openly praising Sun Mo, she actually meant something else. She was warning Jiang Leng not to be foolish. She didn't want such trash as her junior apprentice brother. Right? Teacher is really very awesome. Lu Xiaoyu ran over and stood behind Sun Mo. After saying this sentence loudly, she cowered back again, only revealing her eyes as she watched. Aya, you stupid fool. Li Ziqi really wanted to strangle Lu Xiaoyu. This papaya girl's words were sincere, and she worshipped Sun Mo from the bottom of her heart. Jiang Leng was hesitating. Earlier, he tried to acknowledge many masters, but no one was willing to take him in. Now that someone was willing to do so, he suddenly began to worry about his future and whether this person would be a good teacher or not. The scenes of his childhood began to appear from the depths of his mind. They caused Jiang Leng to turn pale. It was unbearable. It's rare for such a good teacher to accept you as a disciple. What are you waiting for? Lianzheng urged. Teacher Sun. Can you let me become a saint? When Jiang Leng said the word saint, he also felt bashful, because even he himself felt that it was impossible. However, if he didn't ask, he would feel reluctant in his heart. Ha ha, is he dreaming? Mocking laughter rang out from the crowd. This fellow truly didn't know the immensity of heavens and earth. Sun Mo really wanted to shoot back at Jiang Leng. Wasn't he aware of his own situation? He could become half of a saint, if things went on. However, when Sun Mo stared at the hope-filled eyes of the young man, as well as the word trash on his forehead, Sun Mo swallowed his initial mocking response, and he decided to smile instead. I don't dare to guarantee whether you can become a saint or not, but I can guarantee that I will do my best to teach you. Your achievements in the future will still depend on your own effort. Sun Mo wasn't kidding when he said this. This was the principle he scrupulously abided by ever since he became a teacher. He wouldn't treat any student differently regardless of their results. Are you dumb? Why are you asking such a question? Even Sun Mo doesn't dare to guarantee he himself can become a saint. Lianzheng felt even angrier, and his spittle almost flew onto Jiang Leng's face. The Central Province Academy mustn't allow such a fool to join them. If a human doesn't have dreams, what will be the difference between them and salted fish? Sun Mo stared at Lianzheng. If youth didn't have dreams and only acted realistically, was there still any meaning in this world? Would this world have any future? Swish. A golden light began to emit from the angered Sun Mo. It's the priceless advice halo, someone exclaimed in shock. Swish swish swish. The golden light was like fine rain scattering outward, enveloping a range of 100 meters and engulfing the audience in the crowd. They also began to shine with golden light, and their minds and spirits were instantly stirred. Those forgotten dreams of theirs began to rise again. For a time, the noisy environment fell back into silence. Everyone sank into an indescribable mood. That's right, who doesn't have dreams? Being able to enter a famous school. Being capable enough to chase the girl they secretly admired. finding a good job, even getting full marks and becoming the #1 student for a time could also be considered a dazzling dream. Becoming a saint, Lianzheng mumbled. When he regained his senses, only then did he realize that tears were flowing down his face. He was once a young man and had hot blood too, brimming with ambition. But when he was close to 40, he was still a 1-star great teacher. Let alone becoming a saint, he would already feel very content if he could become a 4-star great teacher before his death. Li Ziqi was so excited that she was panting when she saw people in the surroundings immersed in the atmosphere of recollection due to Sun Mo's priceless advice halo. Even that great teacher whom she loathed was no exception as well. Yay! Teacher is so awesome. Ding. Favorable impression points from Li Ziqi plus 15. Prestige connection with Li Ziqi. Neutral. 71/100ths. Lu Xiaoyuo gazed at Sun Mo with a look of worship. Her finger, which was holding on to his clothes, exerted even more force. Ding. Favorable impression points from Lu Xiaoyuo plus 30. Prestige connection with Lu Xiaoyuo. Neutral. 68/100ths. After hearing the system notifications, Sun Mo's lips twitched. As expected, honest people would contribute more favorable impression points. HMPH, you are on your own. Lianzheng, who had just awakened, snorted while flicking his sleeves as he left. He no longer had any mood to look for trouble. Teacher Sun, please accept me, Jiangleng, as your student. Jiangleng knelt and kowtowed. Ding. Favorable impression points from Jiangleng plus 30. Prestige connection with Jiangleng unlocked. Current state, neutral. 31/100ths. The effect of Sun Mo's priceless advice halo was the greatest for Jiangleng, allowing him to pull himself together again. Quickly get up. Sun Mo glanced at him again and discovered that his will stat had +2. The note about his inclination of committing suicide had vanished. Sigh. Li Ziqi sighed in her heart, but since it had been done, she could only acknowledge it. She put on a smiling face. Junior brother Jiang, I'm the eldest martial sister. This is Lu Xiaoyuo, your second senior martial sister. She wanted to settle the level of their statuses first. After everyone agreed, even if Lu Xiaoyuo or Xuan Yunpo were to regret it in the future, it would already be impossible to change anything. Maybe the teacher I acknowledge isn't that bad. Jiangleng greeted Li Ziqi and Lu Xiaoyuo while seriously surveying Sun Mo for the first time. Sun Mo was very young. Without a good show to watch, the people in the surroundings dispersed as well. What do you think? How can I think? Sun Mo is too impulsive, letting emotions affect his decision. He dug a huge hole for himself, and I dare to confirm that Jiangleng will definitely become a huge taint on his path of becoming a teacher. That Jiangleng's aptitude is definitely extremely bad. He was abandoned by everyone, so how bad do you think it is? This must be the reason why someone carved the word trash on his forehead, right? The surrounding teachers departed as they discussed. In any case, they didn't think highly of Sun Mo. He had basically trashed his own career. Such a way of acting was truly too foolish. Jin Muji had long since left, but she was thinking about the young man who had helped her massage her neck a few days ago at the Sorreless Lake. So, you are Sun Mo. Jun Muji felt a little surprised. He didn't seem to be as inferior as what the rumors had stated. Also, that sentence Sun Mo, won't give way, won't retreat, won't concede, was truly well spoken. Even she wanted to clap and cheer for him. Jin Muji abruptly halted. She turned her head back and stared in the distance. Speaking of which, his massage technique was very good. Ever since her neck was massaged by him, she felt extremely comfortable during these few days. Should she take the initiative to ask him for a massage? Chapter 46. Don't be afraid, he is just someone who eats soft rice. Ding. Favorable impression points from Jin Muji +1. Prestige connection with Jin Muji. Neutral. 2/100ths. The sudden notification stunned Sun Mo. He subconsciously thought about the well-rounded figure of that beautiful great teacher. This was especially so for her ample juicy peach, as it would be imprinted in anyone's memories once they glanced at it. System, if the accumulation of favorable points is enough, does it mean that I can do some indescribable things to a target? Sun Mo glanced at the surroundings, but he didn't see Jin Muji's figure. Do you think I'm the love yellow lotion system? The system was speechless. Also, It's too time-consuming to gain high amounts of favorable impression points. You might as well toss some money at her. Oh, I've forgotten. You are dirt poor. Do you believe I'm going to crush you now? Sun Mo was speechless. However, the system was right. He was truly extremely poor. It seemed like he had to hurry up and finish the journey to the west so he could get some money from Zheng Qingfen. If a man couldn't even afford an extra egg during breakfast, that would truly be too pathetic. Clap, clap. Zhongzhou clapped his hands and walked over. What a wonderful response. You put the priceless advice to good use. Sun Mo turned over and saw a smiling square face. Are you not afraid that a great teacher would take revenge on you? Even if he is just 1 star, his status is much higher than yours. Zhongzhou was curious. If I'm afraid, I wouldn't have stood out. Sun Mo rolled his eyes. If he was unhappy, he would simply resign. In any case, the world was so big. Where couldn't he go? He didn't leave now because he just arrived here and was still unfamiliar with this world. Besides, this body of his had memories and feelings toward Xin Hui. They also played a part in influencing him. Hee. Zhongzhou's gaze glanced over Li Ziqi and landed on Jiang Leng. For the sake of a dispute, is it worth it? Jiang Leng's body was covered with a large patch of damaged spirit runes, which would severely disturb his absorption of spirit chi. Hence, his cultivation speed would definitely be slow. This indicated that even if he was an unpolished jade, he was already a damaged one. I didn't accept him because of that great teacher's provocation. After Sun Mo finished speaking, he added another sentence in his heart. I did this because the damnable system forced me to. What shitty mission is this? It actually said it wanted to temper me. The system is most probably a sadist, right? However, since Jiang Leng had acknowledged him as a master, he would wholeheartedly guide him. When Jiang Leng heard Zhongzhou's words, his expression turned dim. But after listening to Sun Mo's reply, his spirit stirred as gratitude rose from his chest. Ding. Favorable impression from Jiang Leng +5. Prestige connection with Jiang Leng. Neutral. 35/100ths. Sun Mo felt a little surprised. Jiang Leng looked aloof and exuded an inhospitable aura. Yet, he still knew how to be grateful. Zhongzhou no longer spoke. He just patted Sun Mo on his shoulder while thinking this was the mental attitude a qualified teacher should have. Oi, don't just show an expression of admiration toward me. Alright. It's more practical to give me some favorable impression points. Sun Mo quietly mused. He put on a professional-looking smile while he noted down Lian Zheng's name in his mental notebook. This matter hadn't concluded yet. It's not early anymore. How about eating together? Zhongzhou invited. Sure. Sun Mo wasn't polite as well. Speaking of which, this was a 4-star great teacher's lunch party. Zhongzhou, this square-faced guy had 3 more stars than Lian Zheng. Ding. Congratulations to the host for accepting Jiang Leng and completing the mission. Reward, 1 bronze treasure chest. As the system notification rang out, a shining bronze treasure chest appeared before Sun Mo. Sun Mo patted Lu Xiaoruo on her shoulder before saying the word open. Teacher? Lu Xiaoruo turned her head, waiting for instructions. Nothing. Sun Mo smiled. As expected, a papaya girl could truly increase his luck. The treasure chest vanished as a bottle of ancient whale oil floated in the air. Although it wasn't a skill book, this item was still worth 1,000 points. After the meal, Jiang Leng left. He had already acknowledged a master, and it was confirmed he would be enrolled in the Central Province Academy. Hence, there was no need for him to continue following Sun Mo. In addition, he knew his own situation very well. If he wanted to improve, he had to grab hold of every second. Li Ziqi wanted to tour around the teaching building. Sun Mo naturally didn't mind it. The teaching building was a building constructed from a mixture of wood and stone. There were 3 types of classrooms in the building, for 20 people, 50 people, or 100 people. The higher the fame of a teacher, the higher the number of students who would want to attend his public lecture. Naturally, the classroom size had to be bigger as well. Other than this, each level also had a lecture hall with a capacity of 300 people. But even so, when a great teacher was giving a lesson, the place would be packed to the brim. There were no solutions to it, as there were too many students who wanted to listen in. In a school, the fewer the number of students during a lesson, through direct observation, it meant that the fame and ability of the teacher were very low. Li Ziqi walked in the corridor. She patrolled the classroom and curiously glanced at the surroundings. In the past, she had never gone to a school before, as her family always arranged a private tutor for her. The lecture hall also had many new students touring it. Li Ziqi took a glance, and just when she wanted to leave, she turned her head back again. After that, she called out in a low voice, "Teacher, come quickly." I discovered a good seating. At a seat below the windows on the left, there was a pair of twins. They were currently chatting with a few intern teachers. This pair of brothers are surnamed Zhu. The elder brother is named Ziping and the younger brother is named Zuan. They are in the information booklet as well. They came from Wuyi County, and their family has been in the herbs business for generations. Hence, they have always been taking medicinal baths since they were young, resulting in their bodies being extremely robust and healthy. They can be considered quite wealthy. Li Ziqi introduced. Lu Xiaoruo hurriedly checked the information booklet. At the 8th column of the 6th page, bottom left corner, Li Ziqi subconsciously displayed her outstanding intellect that was at 10 points. She had simply glanced through the information booklet earlier out of boredom and didn't really have any intentions to memorize it. Sun Mo's gaze landed on Qin Fen, as well as Qi Shengjia, who was standing beside him. Li Ziqi was worried the brothers would be recruited away. Hence, she immediately ran over to get into a conversation with them. This group immediately stopped their conversation. When Qin Fen saw Li Ziqi, his gaze turned and landed on Sun Mo. A great enemy had arrived, and this involved the matter of his failed recruitment of Xuan Yuan Po. Everyone had already heard of this. "Sun Mo, you came too late. They have already agreed to be my students." Qin Fen's tone was filled with a hint of arrogance. This time around, it could be considered that he had recovered some lost ground. "Please talk only after you have awakened from your dream." Sun Mo's lips twitched. He could see many intern teachers who hadn't given up yet and were also in the vicinity. This indicated that the brothers had not acknowledged a teacher yet. At most, they only promised Qin Fen verbally. "Sun Mo, when doing things, please note the order of arrival." Yuan Feng ruthlessly glared at Sun Mo. He knew that he wouldn't be able to get the Zhu brothers as his disciples, hence, he helped Qin Fen to speak out. In any case, he wouldn't let Sun Mo get what he wanted. The matter of accepting disciples definitely touches upon the capabilities of the teacher. How could a good teacher allow a stupid fool to accept a good disciple just because the stupid fool was here first? Sun Mo ridiculed. "Hee, teacher is so toxic." Li Ziqi was silently joyful. "Who did you say was a stupid fool?" Qin Fen was greatly angered. This was especially so when he saw Li Ziqi following Sun Mo. He had heard Yuan Feng saying that the number one female student in the information booklet had chosen Sun Mo. In addition to the matter from before where he failed to snatch Xuan Yuan Po, the old grudge added on with the new, resulting in Qin Fen wanting nothing more than to slay Sun Mo right now. "Whoever replied to me?" Sun Mo shrugged. Rongbo leaned against the door. His hands were folded before his chest as he watched the good show. "Didn't you just accept 2 disciples? Why are you acting so complacent?" Everyone lived in the same dorm, and Yuan Feng had always looked down on Sun Mo. Now that he suddenly saw Sun Mo accepting 2 disciples, he was so jealous that he could die. He felt that the heavens were very unfair. There are many teachers in the school that have disciples. They have over 10 and 20, and these are still considered relatively little. "So, what do you count as?" Yuan Feng mocked. He stared at the Zhu brothers. "Let me tell you a secret. Some disciples are willing to acknowledge this fellow as their master. But it isn't due to his capabilities. It's because his fiancée is headmaster and Xin Huai." The students in the lecture hall also turned their gazes over. "Oi, your words are too over the top." Li Ziqi frowned. "Am I wrong? He is just a soft trice guy. If it wasn't for him hugging the thigh of headmaster and, he won't even become a teacher." Yuan Feng spoke. He continued trying to persuade Li Ziqi and Lu Xiaoruo, "You guys were tricked by him. Luckily, our school leaders are brilliant and knew that if they allowed him to be a teacher, he would waste the time of the students. Hence, they tossed him into the logistics department." Qin Feng was calm and unruffled as he watched Sun Mo being humiliated. Their brothers also stared at Sun Mo in puzzlement. Evidently, The distrust in their gazes was now much more pronounced. "Don't speak nonsense." Li Ziqi grew angry. "Teacher's son has a very good character," Lu Xiaoyuo explained. "I have proof." Yuan Feng called out. "Speak!" Qin Fen added oil to fire. He wanted nothing more than to trample Sun Mo to death. Yuan Feng pulled Qi Shangjie, who was standing behind Qin Feng, over. "This student is named Qi Shangjie, and he has gone to our dorm to look for Sun Mo in the past, sincerely seeking his guidance. If Sun Mo is truly capable, why didn't disciple Shangjie acknowledge Sun Mo as his master but chose to follow teacher Qin Fen instead?" Qin Fen lifted his chin in a reserved yet proud manner. "Also, you guys most probably didn't know that in the past, this student Qi Shangjie was only at the 3RD level of the body refinement realm. In the end, under the guidance of teacher Qin Feng, he broke through 2 levels in 5 days. And in the test of the battle hall, he jumped levels and defeated Peng Wanli, someone at the 6th level of the body refinement realm, who ranked at number 108. Currently, Qi Shangjie is already an official member of the battle hall." Yuan Feng introduced Qi Shangjie's background. In the lecture hall, exclamations of shock rang out. "Broke through 2 levels in 5 days, ranked at number 108, official member of the battle hall." All these terms were sufficient to make people gasp in admiration. The gazes of everyone turned to Qi Shangjie when they thought of the famous reputation the battle hall had in Jinling City and that this student was one of the 500 members. All the new students were filled with extreme envy. The gazes that turned to Qin Feng now were filled with urgency and enthusiasm. Their brothers exchanged mutual glances, and their gazes became determined now. "Why? Do you have nothing to say?" Yuan Feng stared at Sun Mo and decided to make things worse. "If you are capable, why did he acknowledge Qin Fen as his master?" You are an irksome presence in my eyes. Do you feel like digging a hole and hiding yourself in it right now?" said Qin Fen. He was so happy that he could die. No. Qi Shangjie was an honest and foolish kid who was not good with words. Now that so many people were looking at him, he stuttered even more. "Quickly tell them how outstanding teacher Qin Fen is." Yuan Feng encouraged Qi Shangjie. "Don't be afraid that he would take revenge on you. He is just someone that sponges off women." "That's right, I will back you up no matter what," Qin Fen spoke. Sun Mo didn't rebut. Instead, he turned to Qi Shangjie and asked in a low voice, "Is your body still well during these few days?" Upon hearing that Sun Mo didn't rebuke him but was concerned about his condition, Qi Shangjie's eyes immediately turned red. He ferociously pushed away Yuan Feng's hands and knelt before Sun Mo, kowtowing 3 times. The situation is not like this," Qi Shangjie roared. Because of this unexpected occurrence, everyone in the lecture hall fell into silence. Chapter 47, Number 1 Great Teacher in Jinling. "I can defeat Peng Wanli and join the battle hall because of teacher Sun Mo's efforts," Qi Shangjie roared. Yuan Feng fell into a daze, and he subconsciously glanced at Qin Fen. Qin Fen, who had been waiting to mock Sun Mo, felt extremely awkward. He wanted to find a hole and dive into it to hide. Then why did you acknowledge Qin Fen as your master?" Yuan Feng questioned. My aptitude is too bad, and I don't have the face to beg teacher Sun Mo to take me as his disciple. If I did, I would definitely become a taint on his teaching career. Coincidentally, teaching assistant Qin Fen came to look for me saying that he wanted to accept me as his disciple, and I decided to agree," Qi Shangjie explained. After he finished speaking, the entire place was in an uproar. Although Qi Shangjie didn't say too much, everyone understood the meaning of his words. Because this fellow felt inferior, he didn't dare to ask Sun Mo to be his master. Hence, he chose Qin Fen, who went knocking on his door. Comparing this, it was very clear who was stronger between Sun Mo and Qin Fen. For people like Rongbo, they thought deeper. Qi Shangjie referred to Qin Fen as a teaching assistant while he called Sun Mo as a teacher. From this, one could see the difference in statuses the two of them held in his heart. Did Qi Shangjie not know how face-smacking this was for Qin Fen by saying all this in public? Then again, Qi Shangjie looked like an honest person who would forgive his wife even if she turned out to be unfaithful on their wedding day. Evidently, He didn't think about how serious the consequences of his words were. Or maybe, he did think about it. However, he respected Sun Mo too much, hence, he was helping Sun Mo to explain. Have you heard it? Li Ziqi questioned Yuan Feng. Yuan Feng's thoughts were in turmoil, and he didn't know how to explain it. On the contrary, Sun Mo had a cold expression on his face as he spoke up. Qi Shangjie, when have I ever taught you before? Don't try to form a relationship with me randomly. When Sun Mo heard Qi Shangjie's words, he felt extremely gratified. However, he was also worried about Qi Shangjie. Do you have to be so honest? After saying these words, even if you are not driven away by Qin Fen, you would be ignored for a few years. In any case, you will die for sure. If a personal disciple was expelled by a teacher, that would be a huge taint in their life. Basically, it would be extremely difficult for them if they wanted to find another teacher. After hearing Sun Mo's words, Rongbo nodded, feeling even more admiration for Sun Mo. Ding. Favorable impression points from Rongbo +1. Sun Mo glanced at Rongbo. Were teachers at the 3 stars and above all so stingy? Would they die if they gave him more favorable points? In truth, Sun Mo understood that the higher the star grade of a great teacher was, the more situations they had seen before. Besides, they had seen too many geniuses. It was too difficult for them to admire a junior and feel a very favorable opinion of him. Ah? Qi Shangjie was startled. Clearly, he didn't understand Sun Mo's good intentions and thought that Sun Mo was really angered. Hence, he kowtowed 3 more times with even more force. Qi Shangjie, since you worship him so much, our verbal agreement in the past no longer counts. Qin Fen emphasized the words verbal agreement, and this could be considered as him finding a way out of the situation. He didn't have divine sight and naturally wouldn't know about Qi Shangjie's potential. When he saw this fellow breaking through 2 levels in such a short time and even jumped levels to defeat Peng Wanli, he thought that this fellow was enlightened and would rise meteorically. Hence, he took the initiative to recruit Qi Shangjie. Teaching assistant Qin? Qi Shangjie cried out in shock. After that, he secretly cast a glance at Sun Mo. In truth, he really wanted to be Sun Mo's student. No, it's impossible. You are a soft tri-sky. If it wasn't for you hugging Headmaster An's thigh, how could you possibly recruit any students? Do you think you are the top great teacher in Jinling City? Yuan Feng shook his head. His face was filled with disbelief. He pointed at Qi Shangjie and roared, this student must be afraid to offend you because you are an Xinhuai's fiancé. One couldn't blame Yuan Feng for having such thoughts. He and Sun Mo were both graduates of the same batch from Zhongzhou Academy, and they were even living in the same dorm. It could be considered that he understood Sun Mo very well. Qin Fen's talent definitely trumped Sun Mo's. Just 10 days ago, Sun Mo had still been a loser. Why did he suddenly become so sharp? If you are so awesome, why didn't you show any of your brilliance when we were studying? Hence, you must have definitely relied on An Xinhuai's fame to cheat others. Are you done? Sun Mo mocked. No. Yuan Feng felt even angrier when he saw the casual and relaxed expression on Sun Mo's face. What qualifications do you have to act so composed? Your face should be red in anger and you should quarrel with me. Quickly hit me due to being angry from embarrassment and show others your true face. Pui, you are a scheming dog. Why didn't I discover this in the past? Yuan Feng spat a mouthful of saliva. You are truly annoying. In any case, let me just tell you this. I don't simply have 2 students. I have 4 of them. Sun Mo lifted 4 fingers. Ah? Yuan Feng was dumbstruck. There were still 2 more. Who is so foolish to fall for your lies? Make way. Make way. Is there a fight? Because Yuan Feng was shouting, there were quite a lot of people surrounding the lecture hall outside, watching the show. Xuan Yunpo just arrived, and he directly squeezed his way through the crowd. Oh, he's my student. Sun Mo smiled lightly. Xuan Yunpo? Why would a genius like him follow you? When Xuan Yunpo saw Sun Mo, he immediately retracted his ostentatious attitude. He jogged over. After that, he stood straight and bowed. Teacher. After speaking, Xuan Yunpo touched his spear and stared at Yuan Feng. Teacher Sun Mo, is this fellow trying to find trouble with you? Yuan Feng was dumbfounded when he saw Xuan Yunpo protecting Sun Mo as though former was a battle hound. What was going on with these students? Did shit enter their brains? No way. I'm going to tell Headmaster An that you are using her name to cheat students. Yuan Feng roared, I cannot let the headmaster's name and the school's reputation be destroyed by you. How noisy. Sun Mo hadn't wanted to act, but when he heard that Yuan Feng wanted to complain to An Xin Huai, how could he let this happen? Hence, he lifted his finger and pointed straight at Yuan Feng. Pack. A golden facula shot out from his finger like sparks from flint. The golden light didn't disappear but condensed into the shape of a sharp golden arrow that shot toward Yuan Feng. The distance was too close. Yuan Feng basically didn't have time to react. Swish. The golden arrow shot into Yuan Feng's head, and the impact caused his head to be knocked back slightly. When his head returned to the normal position, his eyes had already lost focus. There was no spirit in them. Yuan Feng subconsciously let out a low roar. He stared vacantly ahead. His mouth was wide open and drool flowed down, wetting his clothes. Ignorant and incompetent. Qin Feng screamed shrilly as his expression drastically changed. He subconsciously took a step back, lengthening the distance between him and Sun Mo. The expressions on the faces of the other intern teachers were unsightly as well. Is that the great teacher Halo, ignorant and incompetent? I've never seen it before, but I heard that those under the effect of this halo would fall into a daze and become something like an imbecile. How terrifying. The students discussed as they looked at the dazed look on Yuan Feng's face. He was drooling and wandering about aimlessly. He even knocked into a few desks, but he had no reactions. All of the audience felt fear and trepidation. When they turned their gaze to Sun Mo again, a hint of reverence could be seen in their eyes. This was the power of a great teacher halo. Ding. Favorable impression points from Qishangjia plus 15. Prestige connection with Qishangjia. Friendly. 373 1/1000ths. When Sun Mo heard the system notification, he felt a little conflicted. Should he accept Qishangjia as a personal disciple or not? 20 years old, possessing 2 great teacher halos. Not bad at all. Rongbo nodded. If he had 3, it would be even better. However, that was an extravagant hope on his end. After all, Sun Mo just recently graduated and hadn't taught any students before. How could teachers comprehend a great teacher halo? There was actually a trick, and that was to teach students. Once the number of lessons exceeded a certain number, the teachers would gather enough experience and understanding. When the conditions were right, success would follow naturally, and they would comprehend a great teacher halo. Teacher, you are so awesome. Li Ziqi clapped and cheered. Quarreling with such a person was too damaging to one's status. So Sun Mo had directly used a great teacher halo and solved the problem. Ding. Favorable impression points from Li Ziqi plus 10. Prestige connection with Li Ziqi. Neutral. 81 1/100ths. Ding. Favorable impression points from Luxiruo plus 15. Prestige connection with Luxiruo. Neutral. 83 1/100ths. Although Luxiruo didn't say anything, the favorable impression points generated from her had expressed her feelings. The eyes of the Zhu brothers brightened as they surveyed Sun Mo. It seemed like Yuan Feng's words were unreliable. This teacher Sun Mo wasn't a soft guy. In any case, even if he cheated, being able to accept 4 students also meant that he had some capabilities. Teacher, do you want to accept them as disciples? Xuan Yuanpo pulled his spear out as an aura of sharpness radiated forth. Come. Fight me first and let me see if you guys are qualified to be teachers, students or not. Xuan Yuanpo loved battle, and his aura immediately became sharp the moment he took out his spear. He was like a ferocious beast choosing targets to devour. The expressions of the Zhu brothers turned heavy. As geniuses, they could feel that Xuan Yuanpo was a very strong enemy. Pack. Li Ziqi rolled the information booklet and used it to hit Xuan Yuanpo's head. Don't start trouble. The aptitudes of the twins aren't bad. What if they got chased away after being beaten by you? Why are you hitting me? Xuan Yuanpo stared at Li Ziqi. His attitude didn't soften just because she was a girl. Teacher, he is just a battle addict that likes to fight. His egg is too bad. Li Ziqi was speechless. I'm standing beside Sun Mo. Normal people should be able to guess my identity, right? Teacher Sun Mo. Their Zhu brothers greeted him. During the first day of the student recruitment meet, they had seen Liu Mubai try to recruit Xuan Yunpo on the martial arts platform. Liu Mubai was very famous. He was one of the targets the Zhu brothers wanted as a master. Now when they saw that Xuan Yunpo had chosen Sun Mo, they naturally didn't dare to slight Sun Mo. Upon seeing this scene, Qin Fen was anxious and angry. He glared at Sun Mo and roared, "Sun Mo, do you dare to compete with me?" During these 2 days, Qin Fen's path of accepting disciples was not smooth at all, and he had been rejected many times. He had failed to recruit all the students he had his eyes on, and he was enraged by it. Hence, he could only lower his target and recruit Qi Shengjia. Earlier, he had put in so much effort and finally convinced the Zhu brothers. But now, the meat before his eyes was about to fly away, so it would be a wonder if he wasn't angry. Sun Mo didn't reply. He glanced at the brothers as their data rose from their bodies. "Sun Mo, are you not the #1 great teacher in Jinling? Come on, fight with me." Qin Fen wanted to spur Sun Mo into action by making negative remarks. He wanted to defeat Sun Mo fair and square to let Xuan Yunpo and Li Ziqi know that they had missed out on the chance to follow an outstanding teacher like him. Sun Mo wasn't even worthy to lift his shoes for him. Chapter 48, Scheming. The lecture hall that was enough for 300 people to sit in was packed to the brim now. Many new students came over to watch the show, and there were even some teachers among them. The whispers of everyone were like ants crawling across a leaf, emitting a slight rustling sound. Zipping, 12 years old. 1 SD level of body refinement realm. Strength, 6. Very normal. Nothing eye-catching. Intellect, 5. The standard. Agility, 6. Still very ordinary. Will, 4. The temperament of a youth, not too stable. Potential value, above average. Note, no flaws, no strong points. For such students, I find it hard to muster the interest to give an evaluation. After Sun Mo read the data, he turned to look at Xuan. Xuan, 12 years old. 1 SD level of the body refinement realm. Strength, 6. Intellect, 5. Agility, 6. Will, 4. His potential value was a hair better than his elder brother. Note, as expected of twins, their basic stats are basically the same. Suggestion for them to practice combination attacks to maximize the advantage of being twins. Sun Mo knew the system classified potential value into 7 tiers: extremely low, low, below average, average, above average, high, extremely high. The brothers' potential value was above average. In a class, they could be considered third-tier students. Their results would surpass the majority, and if they worked hard, they might enter the top 20 or even exceed expectations slightly to enter the top 10. However, if they wanted to be in the top 3, that was definitely impossible. This pair of brothers didn't even have a high potential value. No wonder the system didn't show any interest. Seeing Sun Mo remain silent, Qin Fen thought that he was afraid. He complacently shook his head and pointed to the door with his chin. "If you don't dare to compete, scram now. Don't embarrass yourself here." Would our #1 great teacher in Jinling City be afraid? Sun Mo, fuck him. Sun Mo, I support you. A few intern teachers egged them on. Although people were cheering for Sun Mo, they actually wanted him to die because they were jealous that he managed to recruit students. Hence, they wanted to egg him into battle. Who was Qin Fen? He was a graduate of Jixia Learning Palace, one of the 9 famous schools. How could Sun Mo win? If he lost, he would be in an embarrassing position. At that time, when the few students under him saw his true appearance, they would definitely feel cheated. If they took the initiative to resolve their master-student relationship, Sun Mo would have a stain on his reputation forever. "My teacher is not afraid," Lu Xiaoyuo argued. "What do you want to compete in?" Sun Mo glanced at Yuan Feng. This fellow was still drooling and was like an idiot, vacantly staring around. He didn't even know how to turn back when he knocked into a wall. He simply continued to try and walk forward. "We are teachers, we definitely have to compete in our guiding abilities." Qin Fen's voice was bright and clear. He confidently swept his gaze through the crowd. "I've already asked earlier. The cultivation bases of this pair of twins are the same. Their strength is relatively similar too. Why don't we each instruct one of them?" 2 hours later, They will have a competition. Whichever side wins will be the one with a better teacher. The students nodded. This idea wasn't bad. What if someone concedes intentionally? Xuan Yunpo scratched his head. Why don't they just fight against me? The one who persists longer will be the winner. Hush. After Xuan Yunpo finished speaking, hissing sounds rang out from within the lecture hall as the other students cursed at him. Aren't you too brazen? Their Zhu students stared at Xuan Yunpo with unfriendly looks on their faces. They were all in the prime of their youth. Who among them wouldn't have an ego? How would they allow someone to step on them? A combat addict whose brain turned into muscle. Just by thinking about it, you will know it's impossible for Qin Fen to agree. This is because he's worried that you might throw the fight. Li Ziqi was speechless, but on account of her junior martial brother, she explained, many great teachers are here for the student recruitment meet. If the Zhu brothers have an outstanding performance, some great teachers might regard them highly. So, will they give it their all or not? Are you all willing? Qin Fen glanced at the Zhu brothers. We are willing. After the Zhu brothers exchanged a mutual glance, both of them agreed in unison. With such a good chance to display their abilities, only a fool would give it up. Looking at the number of people in the lecture hall and the spectators outside. This could already be considered a big scene. We should find one more respectable teacher as the judge. Things will be fair then, Li Ziqi suggested. Let me do it. Jin Muji spoke. Everyone turned their heads. When the students and teachers here saw the 3 golden threads on her white robe's cuff and collar, their expressions immediately turned into one of respect as they bowed in greeting. Good day to Teacher Jin. These were the students. Teacher Jin. Then the teachers. Teacher Jin. Qin Fen was astonished. This incident actually drew her attention. His mind and spirit stirred. With a great teacher on the scene, there was no need for him to be afraid that Sun Mo would refuse to acknowledge the result. As long as his performance was outstanding and was appreciated by Jin Muji, he would be able to have much better days in the Central Province Academy in the future. The two of you first have an exchange of 10 moves. Jin Muji walked out of the crowd and instructed the Zhu brothers. After this pair of brothers learned of Jin Muji's identity, they were so agitated that they were trembling. After agreeing, they started to attack. At this moment, how would they still remember Sun Mo and Qin Fen? They wanted nothing more than to show their abilities to Jin Muji. Very well. Both of you can stop now. After the Zhu brothers exchanged 10 moves, they still wanted to continue, but they were stopped by Jin Muji. Their strengths are indeed comparable. Sun Mo, Qin Fen, you guys can select your candidate. Zuan, are you willing to receive my guidance? Qin Fen asked, directly naming the younger brother. Ziping started. His expression showed a hint of indignation and disappointment. Didn't this mean that Qin Fen held his younger brother in higher regard than him? Don't be depressed. Because you are the elder brother and would usually take care of the younger brother, your personality is also more mature. Hence, your strength should be slightly higher. I'm not willing to take advantage of Sun Mo, hence, I allowed him to choose you. Qin Fen explained. So this is the case. Ziping's expression relaxed. Do you have any objections? Jin Muji asked Sun Mo. Nope. Sun Mo shook his head, but his eyes involuntarily surveyed Qin Fen. This fellow was as expected of a graduate from the Jixia Learning Palace. His judgment was pretty good. Speaking of potential, Zuan was slightly better than Ziping. You guys can go and guide your respective student. 2 hours later, gather at the public square before the teaching building for the competition. After Jin Muji finished speaking, she involuntarily snuck a glance at Sun Mo. Her favorable impression of him became much weaker. He was after all inferior to a graduate from a famous school. He wasn't able to tell that Qin Fen had seized a better student. Sun Mo, see you later. Qin Fen appeared very polite, but his heart was filled with a sense of superiority. You are a salted fish graduate from a rubbish school. Most probably, you don't know I've already won the starting gambit, right? There's no need for us to look for a classroom. This place is fine, it is pretty spacious. After Sun Mo finished speaking, he clapped his hands. Can I trouble everyone to leave? I want to proceed with the solo guidance. Although the audience felt curious, they knew this incident concerned the reputations of the two teachers and the future of the Zhu brothers. Hence, they didn't cause a disturbance and decided to leave. Ziping didn't say anything. His heart was filled with trepidation as he looked at Sun Mo. Don't worry, Teacher Sun is very awesome, Li Ziqi consoled. That's true. Lu Xiaoruo nodded. Jin Muji was the last to leave. After that, Rongbo closed the door and walked over. That Qin Fen has some skill. Sun Mo, you shouldn't do things according to what he said. Seeing that Rongbo was clearly not optimistic about Sun Mo's chances, Lu Xiaoruo's heart clenched. Jin Muji initially wanted to leave, but after she heard these words, she halted her steps. Who's this middle-aged guy? How could he see through Qin Fen's scheme? She had thought he was the parent of a student. In order to prevent Sun Mo from cheating, Jin Muji stopped and listened attentively outside the door. Her personality was strict and serious. If Sun Mo cheated, she wouldn't show any mercy. Do you think he can win just by having good judgment? Sun Mo counter-asked. You also saw through Qin Fen's scheme. In that case, why didn't you say anything? Rongbo couldn't understand. What scheme? Xuan Yunpo scratched his head. Can you guys make things clearer? Ziping, don't be fooled by Qin Fen's words. In truth, he feels that you are inferior to Xuan. That's why he took the initiative to seize him. Sun Mo looked into Ziping's eyes as he explained. Ziping laughed. You want to arouse my spirit of competitiveness? It won't work. Me and my younger brother have sparred many times throughout the years, and we are relatively evenly matched. Also, many elders have said that our level of talent is roughly the same. They were twins. How much different would their level of talents be? Teacher, if you only have such a minor trick up your sleeves, I'm afraid you won't be able to win. Ziping didn't think highly of Sun Mo anymore. You are mistaken. In terms of attacking, Xuan is more aggressive while you are calmer in comparison. Sun Mo waggled his index finger. I think that usually in your spars, you would give in to your younger brother more, right? Ziping started. When he thought back, things were truly the case. Because he was the elder brother, although he was just older by a few minutes, he should have the appearance of an elder brother. There were many times where he would give in to his younger brother. It is fine if it's a normal spar. But once this concerns your futures, the importance of this competition is far greater. Given Xuan's aggressive personality, the chances of him winning are higher. In order to teach students better, back in his world, Sun Mo had bought over 1,000 books about psychology. Ziping was stunned. Outside the lecture hall, after Jin Muji heard this, a look of amazement appeared on her face. After that, she showed a self-mocking smile. She had thought that Sun Mo was in the dark, and she had even looked down on his identity as a graduate from a normal school. Seeing Ziping's expression, Li Ziqi knew that Sun Mo was correct. After that, she felt happy and proud. Teacher Sun is truly awesome. Ding. Favorable impression points from Li Ziqi plus 10. Prestige connection with Li Ziqi. Neutral. 96/100ths. Upon hearing the system notification, Sun Mo snuck a glance at Lu Xiaoruo. What an adorable dumb girl. She still doesn't understand how awesome I am. However, it was fine. It was enough to have big breasts. After all, she could raise his luck. As for Xuan Yunpo, Sun Mo had no hopes that this muscle-brained student could contribute a lot of favorable impression points. After he sighed, he suddenly started. Xuan Yunpo had already acknowledged him as a master, but the prestige connection between them hadn't been activated yet. There was no mistake. Xuan Yunpo hadn't even contributed a single favorable impression point. Rongbo was surprised. His gaze was filled with even more admiration than usual. However, he still didn't understand. Since you know about this, why didn't you bring it up and display an initial show of strength against Qin Fen earlier? Chapter 49. Magnificent performance. Everyone held their breaths, waiting for Sun Mo's reply. I can bring it up, but what will happen then? Even if I get the younger brother and manage to win, Qin Fen will still have excuses. Sun Mo shrugged. You can continue to teach Ziping. After Li Ziqi said that, before Sun Mo replied, she understood. That's right. Since the results would be the same, then you might as well not mention it. After that, you can tell Ziping about it privately to stimulate his yearning for victory. In the end, the only part that Ziping might lose to Xuan is probably just the mentality of always wanting to give in to the younger brother. At the mention of this, Li Ziqi smiled sweetly and couldn't help but grab onto Sun Mo's arm. shaking it. Teacher, you're really such a schemer. Ding. Plus 10 favorable impression points from Li Ziqi. Prestige connection with Li Ziqi. Friendly. 106 1/1000ths. Congratulations. Your prestige connection with Li Ziqi has reached friendly. Rewarded with 1 black iron treasure chest. Please continue to work hard. A big treasure chest that was shrouded in a black glow appeared before Sun Mo. Jin Muji, who was outside the door, subconsciously nodded when she heard of this. To think that this Sun Mo had gone on with the scheme. He was a scheming person. Yet, why was it that she didn't find Sun Mo detestable but had some admiration for him instead? What are you guys talking about? Lu Xiaoruo appeared stunned, not understanding the conversation. You're thinking about things too simply. I can tell you clearly that Ziping's potential is incomparable to his younger brothers, Rongbo reminded him. Amazing. Sun Mo gave him a heartfelt thumbs up. If it wasn't for his divine sight, he wouldn't have been able to tell the difference in the duo's potential value. However, Rongbo was able to do so. Was this the judgment that a 4-star great teacher had? You know about it? After hearing Sun Mo's praise and realizing that he wasn't trying to flatter him, Rongbo felt even more curious. Could Sun Mo tell this as well? This was a judgment Rongbo had developed after having seen over 100,000 students. How could Sun Mo possibly? Ziping's countenance turned grim. After all, no one liked to be looked down upon. Don't worry, you'll definitely be able to defeat Zuan. Come, take off your clothes. Sun Mo stroked Lu Xiaoruo's head as if he was stroking a Scottish fold cat. Huh? Ziping subconsciously grabbed onto his clothes and backed off 1 step. Other than Li Ziqi, who seemed to be thinking about something, everyone else appeared stunned. One was required to take off their clothes when receiving guidance. Ziqi and Xiaoruo, go out. Sun Mo instructed, then secretly said, open in his heart. Opening this black iron treasure chest, a small palm-sized round bottle appeared before him. Ancient whale oil. The essence was extracted from the ancient whale oil's fats and bones and refined together with 16 types of precious medicinal herbs. For external use, the effect will be greater when used together with the ancient massage technique. Remark, as the effects are too powerful, please use them in small amounts each time. If used in too high dosages, it would corrode the nerves, resulting in a great feeling of excitement. System, you're really bent on having me go down the path of a masseur. Although Sun Mo was complaining, he was very satisfied with this reward. The black iron treasure chest was the treasure chest of the lowest level. It wasn't a loss to be able to get a bottle of ancient whale oil that was worth 1,000 points. As expected, the papaya girl could increase his luck. Sun Mo couldn't help but pat Lu Xiaoruo's head again. The papaya girl turned her head, letting out a sound. Why are you touching my head again? Li Ziqi pouted. There's not much time left. Don't just stand there. Quickly take off your clothes. If the two of you don't mind, you can stay. Sun Mo urged. What do you want to do? Ziping felt a little uneasy. There's only 2 hours. What guidance can I give you? I can help you analyze battle strategies at most. Even if I were to point out your problems in battle, these aren't things that can be changed within a short period. Therefore, the only thing left to do is to give you a tuina. Sun Mo had already thought through things. Right now, he had 2 cards up his sleeves. One was the ancient massage technique, and the other was his soul imprint great teacher halo. The owner of this body had gone through many battles to reach the blood ignition realm. Sun Mo had long since integrated the owner's memories and experience with his own. If he were to strike all of them into Ziping's mind with the soul imprint, it'd take immediate effect and last for 5 minutes. Yes, he'd definitely be able to win. However, Sun Mo had always been someone who liked to think about things before putting them into action. This was like playing a game of fighting the landlord, who would throw out a king bomb. 1. Right from the very start. The system said that the soul imprint was unique to him. Such a great trump card must be left for the most critical moment. Of course, in Sun Mo's opinion, the ancient massage technique and the ancient whale oil would be able to bring up Ziping's physique, spiking his battle condition to its peak. Tuina? Ziping's gaze turned hesitant. Rongbo opened his mouth, not knowing what to say. Ziping, you're lucky. Teacher's ancient dragon capturing hands is really amazing. He had given the Qi Shengjia a massage a few days back, allowing him to level up. Li Ziqi looked at the small round bottle in Sun Mo's hand. This is the ancient whale oil. It's said to be refined from ancient whales' fats together with many precious medicinal herbs. Oh my, I'm teacher's disciple now. I should be able to experience the ancient dragon capturing hand's prowess as well, right? But I'll have to take off my clothes. It'll be so embarrassing. Li Ziqi's face suddenly flushed up. Gulp. Ziping swallowed a mouthful of saliva, then took off his clothes. He lay down on the tables that Xuan Yuanpo had helped to put together, acting like a salted fish. Go get some clean water. Sun Mo instructed Xuan Yuanpo. Ancient whale oil was very expensive, and he couldn't bear to waste it. Seeing Xuan Yuanpo coming out, Jin Muji felt bad about secretly listening outside the door. She was just about to leave when he saw quite a few students who were also listening in secretly. Yuan Feng, who had been dragged out and was roaming around the corridors, was drooling a lot from the corners of his mouth. Many students who saw that were pointing and snickering at him. Sun Mo pulled out the cork from the small round bottle, and a strange fragrance immediately permeated the classroom. Even Rongbo, who had great experiences, couldn't help but take a whiff, wearing a curious expression. Relax. After saying that, Sun Mo pressed down on Ziping's back. With just a few presses, relying on the Grandmaster grade muscle forge technique as well as the expert grade circulation technique, he was able to grasp Ziping's body condition. He had to say that this kid was as expected of someone who came from a family that specialized in medicinal herbs business. His body was very healthy and Qi Shengjia couldn't be compared with him. Even if Ziping didn't cultivate, his lifespan wouldn't be short. After putting down the water, Xuan Yuanpo, who was sitting down by the side, lost interest after a few glances. Wasn't it just a massage? However, Rongbo's curiosity got piqued even further. As expected, Sun Mo's massage technique doesn't belong to any of the 3 main factions and 6 branches. Li Ziqi wore an expression as if she was struck by a realization. After she went back home, she immediately went through materials and even went to look for a few masters who excelled in Tuina massage to ask them. However, no one knew about it. The massage was still continuing. Even though Sun Mo also ridiculed himself by saying that he was like a masseur, he was very serious when he got to do things. Sun Mo exerted great force in both hands and slapped out towards Zuping's back. Li Ziqi was struck by a wave of vigor and immediately covered up her face with both hands, peeping through her fingers. She couldn't help but let out a cry in her heart. It's here. It's here. A tremendous amount of golden spiritual chi surged out from Sun Mo's hands, instantly condensing to become a golden human. Lu Xiaoyuo was surprised and backed away. This golden human that had a glistening skin was too strange. The lower half of his body was a wisp of spiritual chi, while his upper body was that of a muscular guy. He was gleaming in golden light, as if covered in olive oil. Xuan Yuanpo clutched tightly onto his silver spear. The golden human opened his eyes, raising both arms up, showing off his muscles vigorously. He shouted at her and then with a flying pounce, smashed down on Ziping's back, elbow first. PFFFT. Ziping's cheeks puffed up like a frog, and he spurted out a mouthful of saliva. Even though this was his second time seeing this golden human, Sun Mo was still unable to accept it. Was this the genie from Aladdin? The golden human's head was still wrapped up in that purple turban, and his vest was open, not buttoned up. Also, he would occasionally show off his muscles as if he was in a bodybuilding competition, filled with a philosophical aura. Even Rongbo, who had seen a lot of things in his life, was stunned. Ziping's cries quickly filled up the classroom as it really felt too comfortable. Drool was uncontrollably dripping out from the corners of his lips, gathering into a small puddle on the ground. Sun Mo stood at the side, forcibly holding back the uncomfortable feeling he had and admiring the massage techniques of the genie from Aladdin's lamp. He had to say that putting aside the golden human's image, his technique was really pleasing to the eye. It appeared magnificent and dazzling. No, I can't take it anymore. Having seen the golden human jumping high up then smashing his thick elbow onto Ziping's back, Li Ziqi shook her head. She had better give up on letting Teacher Sun give her a massage. She'd rather die than have a muscular man rub and knead her body. After the massage ended, the genie put his palms together and bowed toward Sun Mo. Then, he disappeared into the air like a wisp of smoke that had been blown by the wind. Ziping lay down on the table, his eyes rolling back like a pool of mush. His limbs were convulsing uncontrollably. At the same time, his muscles were trembling, absorbing a tremendous amount of spiritual chi. He's going to level up. Rongbo suddenly understood this state. Get up, meditate. Sun Mo pulled Ziping up and gave him 2 slaps when he saw that Ziping hadn't gotten back to his senses. It was useless. Even though his potential value was on the higher end of average, Ziping's performance wasn't much different from Qi Shangjia back then. Thankfully, the spiritual Qi absorbing process hadn't stopped. Moreover, as Ziping had soaked in medicinal baths since young, his body's ability to contain spiritual Qi was greater. Boom, boom, boom. A tremendous amount of spiritual Qi gathered with great impact. Xuan Yuanpo immediately sat down cross-legged and started meditating. He didn't care what that golden human was. The only thought on his mind was to not waste this dense spiritual Qi. Right now, in the other classroom that had been cleared up, Qin Fen was seated on a stool, appearing relaxed while wearing a confident and proud smile. Zuan, don't be nervous. I guarantee that you'll definitely win this. 1 card combination that can beat any other sets in the game. Chapter 50, a sure win battle. Of course I'll definitely win. Zuan wasn't humble at all. Qin Fen frowned. What did he mean by this? Since young, every time I spar with my elder brother, I'll reserve a little bit of my strength. After all, there are no benefits even if I were to win. Zuan shrugged. There was something else he hadn't said. It was only by giving his elder brother a high winning rate and thus developing a sense of superiority that he would continue to act like an older brother, defending him and standing in front of him if there were any problems. Otherwise, if the younger brother was stronger than the older brother, why would the older brother still take care of him? Ha ha. Qin Fen smiled. As expected of someone who was born in a big clan, he was skilled in scheming from a young age. Teacher Qin, I can win and let you hold your head high in front of that Sun Mo. But what can I get out of it? Zuan sniffed. Qin Fen's smile stiffened up, his mood turning bad. You're threatening me? How would I dare? It's just a deal. Acknowledging a teacher was something that affected one's entire life. Therefore, Zuan wanted to take a gamble even if it meant that he would offend Qin Fen. You want me to introduce you to a great teacher? Qin Fen graduated from Jixia Learning Palace, so there were naturally no issues with his intellect. He didn't need Zuan to say anything before he could guess his objective. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Then I won't be able to win either. Zuan threatened. Hearing this, Qin Fen had the strong urge to slap Zuan, killing him. However, not only couldn't he do that, but he even had to coax Zuan. After all, if he couldn't win against Sun Mo, his reputation would be ruined. Which student would want Qin Fen as their teacher if he couldn't even win against a teacher who sponged off a woman? I'm only a teaching assistant now. I don't know many great teachers, Qin Fen explained. Then what about Liu Mu Bai? Zuan lowered his expectations. Alright. Qin Fen gave in. He had no other choice since Zuan had a handle over him. Then I'll be thanking Teacher Qin. Zuan smiled, feeling satisfied. He felt that he was a great genius. Given Ziping's brain, he'd forever be within his control. When Sun Mo and Qin Fen had gotten into a fight, Zuan was already considering how he should make use of this opportunity to bring the greatest number of benefits for himself. Hey, I'm not a tool for your fight. Zuan was proud. Then can you perform your cultivation art now? Let me see if there are any areas in which you'll need to improve on. Qin Fen didn't wish to lose. There's no need. I'll definitely win. Zuan put a few tables together and lay down, resting. That Sun Mo must have the same thought as you, so my brother is definitely showing him his cultivation art. Let him waste his energy. I'll end up being more energized during the battle and will have even greater chances of winning. This guy's heart is really black. Qin Fen cursed in his heart, but he had to admit that what Zuan said was right. Forget it. At the thought that he'd be winning against Sun Mo later, being able to taunt him as much as he wanted, Qin Fen's displeasure was reduced by a lot. As expected, my opponents are still Liu Mubai and Gixuk Sun. I'll gain a great reputation in the future as well and let those students think of means and ways to come under my tutelage. Yuan Feng woke up in the corridors. Who am I? Where am I? Feeling uncomfortable in his chin and neck, Yuan Feng touched them and realized that they were covered in drool. There was even a large patch on the chest area of his clothes that was soaked. What did I do? Yuan Feng furrowed his brows tightly as he bore with the headache, recollecting what had happened. Wasn't he quarreling with Sun Mo? Why was he now in the corridors? Sun Mo seemed to have snapped his fingers and then a golden arrow had shot out toward him. Thereafter, he lost consciousness. Haha. The way that intern teacher looks while roaming around is really foolish, like an idiot. Qin Feng heard the sneers coming from the surroundings, and his face turned even paler. I was hit by ignorant and incompetent. Yuan Feng panicked, and his body trembled uncontrollably. He quickly took a look around. As the student recruitment meet was being held, the teaching building was open to the public, which allowed students to take a look around. Therefore, there were a lot of people. I'm a goner. I've definitely been seen by many students. What should I do? Yuan Feng felt great despair and had the urge to bang his head into the wall and just die. As an intern teacher, he naturally knew how amazing the ignorant and incompetent Halo was. He yearned to get it, and if students were to create trouble and not listen while he was teaching, he would throw it out and turn the student into an idiot. Fuck your mum, Sun Mo. Yuan Feng was filled with anger at the thought of that guy who sponged off a woman. Then, he was overwhelmed with envy because Sun Mo already had 4 students. If he were to get one more student, he would be able to become a substitute teacher. Liu Mubai had thought well of Xuan Yunpo but failed to recruit him. So why did Xuan Yunpo acknowledge Sun Mo as his teacher? Is there still any justice in the world? Is that Xuan Yunpo blind? Even I am better than him. Yuan Feng mumbled and kicked the wall. Bang, bang, bang. Yuan Feng's leg hurt, but he didn't care. He could only forget about the humiliation temporarily through the pain, venting the fury he was feeling. What are you doing? The sudden reproach took Yuan Feng by surprise. He turned and saw Jin Muji, who was dressed in a moon-white long robe. She was standing a short distance away, looking at him with a scowl. Teacher Jin. Yuan Feng quickly bowed and greeted, instantly covered in a cold sweat that drenched his clothes. This was a 3-star great teacher. His unseemly state after being hit by the ignorant and incompetent Halo was probably seen by her. Even if you haven't been employed officially, you should still conduct yourself strictly like a teacher. What are you doing? Does the wall have any feud with you? Jin Muji was angry to be showing such an unseemly sight in front of the students. Where's your self-control? Teacher Jin, I was wrong. Yuan Feng apologized. Go wipe off all the footprints on the wall and then clean up the corridors. Jin Muji punished him. Yuan Feng lowered his head like a docile quail. He felt even more embarrassed when he glanced out from the corners of his eyes. The students in the vicinity were all pointing at him and talking amongst themselves. Don't always look down on others and deny them. If you can't accept it, then use your strength to defeat them and not use rumors to defame others. When Jin Muji saw Yuan Feng reproaching Sun Mo earlier, especially saying that he was someone who sponged off a woman, she felt that there was a problem with Yuan Feng's character. It was normal for there to be competition between teachers, but couldn't he be more above board with his methods? I understand. Yuan Feng didn't dare to rebut. He was being reprimanded by a 3-star great teacher, so he could only quietly listen. After cleaning up, go and apologize to Sun Mo. After saying that, Jin Muji turned and left. Huh? Yuan Feng was stunned. Why do I have to be the one apologizing? I am the victim. At the thought of how he had entered a delirious state after being hit by ignorant and incompetent Halo and had been seen by so many students, Yuan Feng's heart ached even more. However, since this was an order by a great teacher, he could only suppress his fury and dissatisfaction, replying, I understand. I'll tell Headmaster An of your problem. Jin Muji had a heartfelt love for the Central Province Academy. Therefore, she didn't wish for its standard to be lowered. She felt that someone like Yuan Feng didn't deserve to work here. Huh? Teacher Jin, don't. Yuan Feng was frightened and perspiration broke out profusely. Once Jin Muji were to tell this to headmaster and Xin Huai, then his internship life in the Central Province Academy would be over. He wouldn't be able to get a chance to be converted to a permanent position. Jin Muji didn't pay him any heed. Plod. Yuan Feng fell down limply onto the ground, smacking himself hard in the face. Why did that Sun Mo have such good luck? At the thought of how even Jin Muji knew of his name, Yuan Feng felt even more upset. So what if he is handsome? So what if he sponges off a woman? Yuan Feng yelled out. In his heart, he had secretly felt envious of Sun Mo in the past. Why was Sun Mo the one who was able to sponge off a woman? Why was it not him? His mother was to be blamed for not giving him a handsome face. When Ziping came to his senses, he could feel that a tremendous change in his body. His hearing and vision became very clear, and his body felt extremely light. It was as if he had just soaked in a top-notch medicinal bath for 2 hours. No. The effect was even better than that. Without saying anything, Ziping jumped off the tables and swung his fists around, performing crow fist. This felt great, really great. The stiff and unsmooth feeling that he usually felt had disappeared. Ziping's current state was like a bicycle that hadn't been maintained for very long, but could now be used for speeding like a roller coaster after being oiled and reinforced. Do you want me to spar with you? Xuan Yuanpo was itching for a fight. Don't fool around. Li Ziqi rolled her eyes at Xuan Yuanpo. What if you were to hurt him? Thank you, teacher son. Ziping bowed respectfully toward Sun Mo, changing to speak in a more respectable tone. Ding. Plus 10 favorable impression points from Ziping. Prestige connection with Ziping initiated. Neutral. 10 100ths. It's a pity you almost leveled up. Sun Mo felt a little dissatisfied. He could see Ziping's realm through his divine sight. Ziping was now at the peak of 1 SD level of the body refinement realm. I was wondering why I'm feeling so good. So it's because I'm about to reach the boundaries of the realm. Ziping clenched his fists excitedly. He felt as if he had an endless amount of strength now. But it doesn't matter. I'm sure to win against my younger brother now. It's true that your pre-battle condition isn't bad, Rongbo pointed out. Huh? Then if the ancient whale oil is used, won't he be able to level up? Li Ziqi noticed the blind spot. Everyone immediately turned their gaze to the small bottle placed at the side of the table. It had white liquid in it that emitted a fragrant scent. If Qin Feng were to lose after I rely on an external item, then he probably won't accept the results. Sun Mo kept the bottle. If he were to use the ancient whale oil to give Ziping another massage, he'd definitely be able to level up. However, Sun Mo didn't wish to do that. Although the ancient whale oil was a nourishing medicinal item and not the kind of pill medicine that could allow one to level up immediately after eating them, it was still medicine. Oh, Ziping looked at that bottle and licked his lips in yearning. It was a pity that he didn't get to enjoy it. Your massage technique is really impressive. Where did you learn it from? Rongbo was curious. A great teacher taught me. Sun Mo randomly came up with an excuse. Haha. Knowing that Sun Mo didn't wish to say it, Rongbo didn't continue to ask. However, his wavering mind had come to a decision. Regardless of the price, he must get his hands on Sun Mo. Ding. Plus 2 favorable impression points from Rongbo. Prestige connection with Rongbo. Neutral. 3 100ths. Hearing the notification, Sun Mo turned to look at Rongbo and noticed that he was looking at him. Sun Mo was very familiar with that gaze and smile. It was the same feeling he had when he was looking at a good game and couldn't wait to have it for himself. Brother, I don't like guys. Sun Mo's lips twitched. Rongbo was stunned for a moment before he broke out laughing. This Sun Mo was interesting. Very interesting. It'd be very enjoyable if he could work together with him. Teacher, quickly start to give him guidance. There's not much time left before the sparring. Li Ziqi reminded him.